Good.
All right, good evening and welcome to the July 15th, 2026 Plastow Planning Board meeting. Charlene, could you take the roll, please?
Yes, Richard Anthony,
Here.
Karen Robinson,
Here.
Rich Leclerc,
Here.
Ellen Pelletier,
Excused?
Bill Coy,
Here.
Liz Costa is excused also, I
Excused.
believe, she's not coming,
Correct.
and Shay is also excused. yes.
Correct. All right.
I think you forgot someone.
Well,
Mr. Kane.
You forgot that's Mr. Kane's by name.
Did I miss you?
yep.
I have you marked off. Dan Kane.
It's your lucky day.
Well, I am here.
Sorry, Dan.
It's your lucky day. You can go home.
I have to miss somebody. Usually it's Nolan, so, you know.
Right.
All right. Again, for purposes of this meeting tonight, our engineering consultant, Stephen Keach, will be participating, as will our note taker, Charlene. All right, double duty.
Say.
What's that?
Double duty.
Exactly. I'll start the meeting off with just sort of a personal note. It's public information, but again, I think it's important. One of our members, suffered a tragedy in the family. Nolan Pelletier, his wife passed. So that's the reason why he's not here tonight. And behalf of the planning board and and everyone else that knows him, and to his family, we wish them well.
Probably do a moment of silence.
All right. And then we'll take a moment of silence just to remember them, remember her,
Yep.
his wife Jessica. Thank you. All right. Move on to other matters here. First on the agenda, we have minutes that were submitted in your packets.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from June 17th.
I'll second it. Are there any discussion on the minutes, revisions, changes, or anything like that? All right. If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? 500. All right. All right, first on the agenda in terms of public hearings, continued from March 18th. It's going to be PB 26-05, the completeness of an application from Albert Couillard for a lot consolidation and a lot line adjustment to eventually create a residential subdivision. The plan proposes a 12-lot residential subdivision of a parcel, tax map 66, lot 17-002. The subdivision also includes portions of tax map 66, lot 17-000, tax map 66, lot 17-001, and tax map 48, lot 32-003, for a total of 84.42 acres. The application proposes 12 separate residential lots, each supported by its own on-site well and septic, and with frontage on a new plus or minus 1,800-foot roadway that will access from Hoyt Farm Road. The plan proposes 3 single-family lots, 1 duplex and 8 triplexes. The plan also proposes drainage and related infrastructure. The property owners of record are Luke's Way, LLC, David M. Hoyt, and Haverhill Golf and Country Club, Inc. Additionally, we'll be opening the hearing also for PB 2618, an application from Albert Couillard for a conditional use permit application to fill approximately 1,400 square feet of wetlands for a new roadway related to a proposed subdivision. The application is being reviewed concurrently with 2605. The property is located at 63 Forest Street, tax map 48, lot 3. The property owner of record is David M. Hoyt. All right. Just some gentlemen, if you want to come up and I see that there are some, these look like responses, I think, to our engineering consultants'
Correct, yep,
third round of letters.
yep.
All right. So, I mean, this is the first that I've seen it, and I think this is the first that our engineer has seen it. But, just opening wise, I did, when I reviewed the file, the responses back were pretty extensive. I think, a lot of them fall, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Keach, but a lot of them, if I were to categorize them, a lot of them seem to be sort of procedural type things, in terms of updating, the site plan, adding annotations, notes, and things like that. But there were others that, I believe you have some business that needs to be conducted in front of the Conservation Commission, and I don't think anything to date has been at least filed with them. Additionally, I think there's a question of whether or not you might need to seek CBA relief. I think that might have been some of the comments. And I think there were also, some of the comments indicated that review, was probably suspended on some of the questions until there was a response of some kind. But, I think that was just my take on it. So we can open the hearing. We can discuss where we stand with respect to what the site looks like, and then we can move on from there. So, what's the current state of the application here?
Well, you just said it that we got a review from Steve Keach 3-4 days ago, and we responded basically saying that we'll didn't have time for this meeting to present the plan, but we agree with everything that he's asking for to revise the plan, and hoping to get a conditional approval. Steve probably has something to say.
Yeah, just to kind of bring us up to speed. Because there were a number of options that we had discussed last meeting. Right.
Yeah,
so it kind of looks like you kind of come back to sort of almost the original, I think.
Well, no, we're gonna move the roadway so that it's in compliance, and we're gonna.
You're talking about the entrance of the roadway.
It's coming in from Luke's Way to Hoyt Farm Road. That's what we discussed at the last meeting, and whether to go straight into Hoyt Farm Road or whether to veer off to the right, and that would allow us to be in compliance with 255, which is the 250 feet in the 75 degrees. So this plan that we submitted, we believe less of the technical stuff, the stuff that Steve's asking about, is in compliance with the Town of Plastow zoning regs.
Mr. Keach, I know that, and if you haven't had time to.
Actually, Phil was kind enough to send me it today.
Okay.
I read it in preparation for tonight. I was just actually also looking at Shay's staff report.
Okay.
I think on page 6, she has a draft motion that I would support. It seemed as if in going through, there were some moving parts in this, that, such as the access road that we talked at length about at the June public hearing a month ago tonight. That's pretty well settled at this point. Phil has done some work and is able to make the geometry of the intersection with White Farm Road work and in compliance with our requirements. I recall last month there was a lot of discussion about a potential waiver there, and I encouraged Phil to do what he ultimately was able to do. That's all good. A lot of your characterization of my report of July 7th was on point. There are some checklist type items, things that there's no doubt in my mind, especially after reading Mr. Christensen's response today, that those will go away very quickly. There's some other items in there, particularly on the zoning pieces and getting the condominium in order. I understand from the response that basically, the multifamily lots is creating a fee simple lot structure, and on each of 12 or 10 of 12 of the individual lots, there'll be multifamily buildings put, and those will be condominiumized, creating a series of very small condominiums, and that's great. However, there are still open space and other aspects of the open space that need to somehow be managed. We need, our zoning ordinance, the open space ordinance, has requirements for ownership, management of those spaces, and somehow those need to get created. I know Al had spoken with an attorney. I don't know where you are with that. Perhaps you could share that with the board in a minute or two. But what I would, as I looked at this today in preparation for this evening, Shay had sent me a copy of her staff report. I received yesterday, and then as I was preparing for tonight, I read what Mr. Christensen submitted to us all earlier today. And I would feel a lot better if we had 30 days for the applicant, his consultant, Shay, and I to cobble together a well-written list of conditions, and have these guys, close a few more of the gaps and get those gaps, verified. There's the matter of the conditional use permit that was necessitated by the realignment of the intersection, for wetland impacts. And as you were correct, it's, I think there's some unfinished business with the Conservation Commission before that can be brought to you for a vote. I think that the way your zoning ordinance is constructed in terms of critical path, it's necessary for your board to act favorably upon that CUP application before the application itself, right? I think there's an ordering and sequence here. And unfortunately for the applicant, the necessity for that conditional use permit for working in the Wetland Conservation District was kind of a late comer to the party, if you will, because of his work in realigning the intersection and bringing that into compliance so we can have a good outcome that I think we're all going to be comfortable with, right? So while things have moved, I'm not sure I could support, for those reasons, a conditional approval this evening. I think you need to get the CUP squared first. And I think that I would think this could be a lot easier process if during the next 30 days we continue to do what we've been doing and get some of these remaining questions out of the way. I like what I read in Mr. Christensen's response today. I just would like to see less will do's and more have done's.
Let me ask a question about the condo association documents. Now, when we're talking about let's say, a unit that I live in or whatever has, let's say, 28 units. You have 28 lots, and then there's common space, and there's an association, I think, that's created. And so everyone has sort of like an undifferentiated ownership in each one of those lots. So it's the association then. There would have to be a named association in which those lots would be sort of managed in.
Owned and managed. If insurance is going to be taken out, for those areas, who's mowing it, et cetera, et cetera. So is that what you're talking about? Well, yeah, and I think that the structure, and Al and I had talked about this with Shay early on. I think what you've decided to do is have a bunch of little condominiums And then in order to satisfy the requirements for the open space under the zoning ordinance, there has to be an umbrella, right?
Yeah.
Association that, whatever the number of units, I guess it's 29, that assigns an undivided fractional percentage of ownership to each of the 29 and has your typical ownership management provisions as far as future use and maintenance of the two large open space areas, right?
Okay.
And I don't think there's any other common infrastructure, is there, Al? No, it's just the ownership of the land. And again, if you go to my letter, I cite in there, let's see if I can find it, the specific portion of the zoning ordinance. This isn't just my idea. This is taken verbatim from your zoning ordinance. If you go to zoning matter comment number 3 on the second page of my most recent letter, accordingly, the second sentence, we continue to recommend the expansion of the drawings to satisfy Article 6, Sections 22047H and 22047I of the zoning ordinance, as well as RSA 356B:20. I think it's clear the direction that Al wants to go as far as the configuration of this project, and I think that's fine. We have those requirements that are part of our zoning ordinance that need to be satisfied. Because, if you go back to the ordinance, you go back to your subdivision regulations, the creation of a condominium in the town of Plastow is an action that has to be approved by your board. And it happens to be embedded in this application for an open space development.
And I actually think that we're actually requiring them to actually have these condominium documents reviewed by our legal counsel.
That's correct.
Right. So, and I don't think that's been done to date. I know there was something submitted, but I don't think it was considered.
The only requirement that was mentioned early on was the requirement of providing a draft deed for how the open space was to be held, which I submitted to Shay, and she submitted to the board's attorney, and it was approved.
Was it approved? The feedback that I understood is that it was considered.
I asked several times, did we hear back from the attorney?
Yeah, it was considered. I thought it was considered more of like a template that was provided rather than actual.
Well, that's what the requirement was, a draft deed. It's a template.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to have to put a pin in that, because I think my understanding is that it wasn't considered sufficient when it was submitted.
Well, this is the first anyone said that.
Okay. I'm just saying, I might be wrong. All right. And
it was something that I asked about, like I said,
Okay.
a couple times.
But then I think my takeaway would be condo association documents or incorporations that we reviewed, and whether or not they're sufficient. But I think the last conversation I had was, I thought
Well, I haven't
weren't.
submitted any draft deeds or condo associations yet. I know that.
Okay.
I mean, I know what you submitted, and it was for a different purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's one of a
how-
series of things. It's
how the
not in
title's
and
gonna-
of itself what we're talking about.
How the title is going to be held on the open space. That's what I thought
Okay.
the requirement was.
All right. So, I mean, whether or not they're reviewed or not, that's ultimately, that'll be something that, will probably be part of a condition,
Well, I
a
mean,
conditional approval anyways.
Yeah, Steve's right. I have hired an attorney who,
Okay.
this is her strong suit. She's on retainer with me,
All right. Good.
Patricia Ponachico, and she's working on all that stuff.
Okay. No, I just, like I said, just putting it out there, knowing that that's an element of this.
Yeah,
that,
well, the element that I didn't realize is that it was a requirement of approval.
well, yeah, I mean, we could incorporate, ultimately, it could be incorporated as a condition of approval of some kind.
As an open space development, it
That's what I want.
sucks in a lot of stuff, right? Because it's an innovative land use technique. So, and that's, it's what I keep coming back in the letter with. I think this is the second or third time that I've mentioned that, right? That comment, zoning matters comment 3, that's a holdover. So that should be nothing new.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I have
Dan,
Article
you can go
6
next.
here.
Okay.
I mean, it says if any part of the PRD is going to be a part of a condominium, then a condominium subdivision plan and all associated condominium documents must be reviewed by the planning board attorney and approved by the state of New Hampshire. Such plans and documents must be recorded at the Rockingham County. That's H.
Another question too.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty straightforward.
Agreed.
Ms.
I just have
Robinson?
one question on, when you say common land, a lot of that is, I don't know what the rule is on
It's
that.
open
but a lot of
space,
it-
yeah.
It has to be open space, but does that include where they have towers going through? Is that?
Have what going through?
The
The PRD,
Lines.
the PRD calculation.
lines, yeah.
Well, it's whatever is not, well, I guess in this particular case, yeah. There's, the plans depict and define, I think it's 48 acres, is it? Something like that, of open space land. And that will be constrained and preserved in accordance with the terms and conditions of the zoning ordinance. It's basically green space. All right. And some of that is encumbered by existing easements, right? The amount of open space that the plan contemplates at present significantly exceeds what the minimum requirements of the zoning ordinance are.
It was just a
All right.
question.
Any other board members have any questions relevant to this discussion or?
Kind of straightforward.
I got one. What happened to the plan to kind of adjust or fix the entrance from the Hoyt Farm Road from Forest? That
Oh,
just
what-
died?
It died at the meeting last month. I mean, I tried to get somebody to say they wanted or to help or we help me with an easement or I didn't see any big push for it. So I decided to just go with a plan that's in complete compliance.
Yeah.
You know, I've been here since February 4th and
I still think you got a problem coming into
Right.
coming into the Hoyt Farm Road from, yeah, and you still, I mean, you've seen what I've written. You're tripling the amount of traffic coming in. I think that's a problem. I don't think it's safe.
Right.
And I don't have a lot, I virtually have no problems with the project. I think a lot of this stuff is filling in the box, checking the box and getting the stuff done. You know, to me, it's fairly straightforward.
For
I
us,
have a problem with that one.
for us, it was getting recommendations from Steve and the highway surveyor that
that's what took a
the
while.
approach of going straight up, that they would agree with it, and they both wouldn't recommend waivers to the rules. So we're stuck
No, I
with,
understand why.
that's why we went
Steve
that
said that
way.
at the last meeting. He couldn't recommend a waiver for that.
But that's,
I think Dan's point is they're not mutually exclusive.
yeah, that's exactly my point. I made it at the last meeting, you know? I just,
Well, Dan, what can I do about that? What's my answer? What's my fix?
well, I think
I don't have one.
I think one thing you can do is get a traffic study, you know?
You know what it's going to say.
I do.
Yeah. It's going to say nothing. It's going to say that the 30 cars or less is in, yeah.
No,
It's going to be blah, blah, blah.
No. It's going to talk about the line of sight, making that left-hand turn, and it's insufficient. That's what I know it's going to say.
Well,
Just a
it's there.
question on that. When you say left-hand turn, we're talking about the existing entrance coming off of Forest, right?
Of course.
So that's an already existing unsatisfactory.
It is for a for a much smaller number.
Dan, where does it say in the rules that it's okay to have 7 lots on something that doesn't follow the rules than it is to have 29 lots that doesn't follow the rules?
I don't know what that means.
It means it's not okay for 7. It wasn't okay when it was built.
I'm not saying it was.
I didn't
I'm
know
not saying it was okay for 7, but I'm responding to Richard saying it's already there and it's already there for 7. We're now tripling it.
All right, so in terms of a study, I mean, what's the difference between actually just pulling the DOT numbers that are already there and just, I mean, what is it that we're looking to do?
Numbers aren't going to tell us anything.
Correct.
Right.
This is a geometric thing, and, you know,
You don't have the site distance. I mean,
don't,
Dan,
yeah.
You don't have the site distance. I mean, if the board tells us they'd vote to approve the plan if that road went straight through like we proposed, we'll do it. But at this point, all we know is that if we comply with the rules, then the board has to approve the plan. And now we're complying with the rules and regulations as written.
Well, there's two separate things going on here. There's the intersection we talked about last week and last month, and that the intersection of Coles, the new street, and Hoyt Farm, right? I think that genie is in the bottle and it's going to stay there. I think Phil has made that work.
Yep.
Getting back to Dan's point, as far as the existing geometry of the Hoyt Farm Road, Forest Street intersection, Phil is correct that there is a site distance limitation coming out of there, right? We all know that, anybody that's been there. So what do we do with that? Well, from a standpoint, we have to set engineering aside for a moment and look at the law, right? There is such a thing as needs occasioned by development, offsite improvements, so that the safety of the added numbers in this case are there, that we're not taking a known problem and exacerbating that problem by adding 29 times like 7 trips a day per attached housing, a couple of hundred trips a day to a situation. So it takes a fine line when you're considering these things, because when there is lack of transportation, it can give rise to a scattered and premature finding on the application. And I don't think any of us want to do that. But, what I would think might be not such a bad idea, instead of going out and, I tend to agree with Al, if we go out and we do a traditional traffic analysis study that follows the DOT standard protocol, we're going to end up with a bunch of numbers and level of service analysis and all kinds of things that don't mean anything, right? This is a geometry situation.
Yeah.
And if you would like, I don't mind going out there with Phil and Dan Garlington and taking one last look at it and see if there's something that can be done to improve the situation without torturing anybody. If that's
And just on that point, I think that's eminently reasonable. All right, and on its face represents sort of a compromise. But I'm going to speak a little larger. Is that this? We're looking at an application in front of us. All right, and to then say that there are problems, let's say, Plastow-wide, with respect to roads, traffic calmings, and things like that, maintenance of sight lines by, not maintaining the sides of the road, by cutting back stuff. I almost see that as being, a larger issue that we shouldn't be punishing, let's say, an applicant for.
agreed.
And, I would almost think that if we had to realign that road, it's not a private road, right?
No, it's a public road.
So at some point, if in a larger context of the town looking at, problems with its transportation infrastructure, is it unreasonable for the town at some point to say that, hey, that entrance to that road needs to be realigned?
Not at all.
So,
And then the town saying that they're gonna do that in addition to other things that the town should.
Well, yeah, in this case, there is law on this. It's well-established law. Land Vest v. Plainfield going back to 78. It would be an apportionment of the cost of doing it. If there's an existing deficiency, that's our Supreme Court in that case said, throughout 5 tests, and they said, no single test is determinative of determining apportionment, right? So we've all worked with this is, I guess I was in what? A sophomore in high school in 1978. But
This was a high point of high school for you, was it?
it was,
Okay.
it was, yeah, in a different state. And then Vermont didn't have the New Hampshire Supreme Court. But there is well-established law on that. And if there's a cost to send, it would be a cost of realignment for apportionment, right, of that cost, and to determine what needs to be done. And I don't think that it is all that mysterious. I think Phil kind of told us what it was going to be a month ago, right? And I think that a ripening of that conversation with Dan would be a wonderful thing, because I don't think what you might want to do there is all that elaborate, right? Dan?
No, I agree. I don't, and the notion here is there is a disconnect. I don't, and you know me, I'm probably the least person that believes that, that an applicant has to, fix the ills of the town. That's not the issue. The issue is a safety issue for me, and access to that, I don't believe is safe now. And I believe it becomes more unsafe with just the numbers. And it's not your project, it's just the numbers coming out of your project. So.
The next meeting we have, hopefully, if we have to continue another month, and we come back and you can approve the subdivision, would you have a separate vote on the changing of Hoyt Farm Road?
I don't think we can do that.
I mean, how do you deal with this
No, you can't.
So
without us putting it on paper
Can't do one
as
without.
part of the subdivision, which is a substantial cost for Al to undertake where the town made a mistake in the first place?
The town should be doing
I'd have to,
it. Can't the town be doing it?
I'd have to think about that. There's a lot there.
I think it's a two-step process, Richard. I think the first one is assessment.
Mhm.
And something tells me that with Phil, myself, Dan Garlington, we'd probably agree fairly quickly, right?
All right.
And then, once we define what it is, if there isn't it, then we would know what needed to be done long term. And I think as far as getting this structured, well, it would be a reasonable condition of approval at some point, the appropriate time to, have Al contribute a certain percentage of the apportioned cost of that modest, realignment, right? We're talking, 100 feet of road or something, right? And just taking that
You
hit.
have to move it 100 feet.
100 feet.
Yeah,
Move it 100
Yeah.
feet, but the road is longer.
right. So again, we have to define it before we can,
Well, so why don't we just commit to the idea that,
yeah.
our engineering consultant,
To this last month. I
a
asked.
lot was
Last month. Came here with
discussed.
an answer to this last month, and
Mm.
nothing. Now I
No,
come here with a plan that's 100% in compliance, and you want me to go back to some sort of plan where I'm either gonna pay or I'm gonna develop a roadway to fix Hoyt Farm Road where it enters Forest Street.
well,
It's
it's just,
9 years old that I
all
have
right,
nothing to do with.
just to, reset the conversation here. No one's telling you to do that. I think what we're saying is that we want to define what that issue is. And no one's deciding to say that you're going to be, what we're going to do, and that you're going to be assessed some cost in doing it. But right now, I mean, this is just sort of a hypothetical conversation to address, a concern that was just brought up.
it wasn't just brought, it's been brought up since day one. And
Well, yeah, but you also asked a bunch of things that last meeting that weren't.
Yeah, well,
The
I
board
was
wasn't-
trying-
the board
I
was not going
What
to
I
do
was
that.
here doing last week was trying to get a feel for every one
Okay.
of you board members. Is there an appetite for trying to incorporate a plan that changes Hoyt Farm Road entering Forest Street, and I didn't see that.
Go back and look at my comments
He said no.
in the meeting.
I think the minutes, I think if you look at the minutes,
At least one person who was in favor.
no, I think when you look at the minutes, you're going to see that idea was amenable, but we were also discussing a lot of other things that,
Again, listen,
All right.
I get it.
okay, so,
I'm willing to
For safety.
cooperate, and I know it's public safety, Karen, but it wasn't
I
it
know.
wasn't my public safety. But I'm willing to do something.
okay.
But I've been saying this for a while. My issue is time. I've been here since February, and I'm just bleeding. It doesn't matter.
No, listen,
my
I
issue is
understand what you're saying, but again, we have extensive, concerns that came out of the review. I know you have a response.
those-
I know that you have a response that you provided today,
Yeah,
and it looks like it's going to clear all those up.
yeah.
All right, there's a concern right now about, again, that hasn't gone away with respect to, the safety of that road. We want to be able to have something that's coherent, an explanation about what could be, all right? And then move forward with this application. I mean, because I think with everything said, we can move forward with it.
We looked at that road.
You got to delay anyways till the Conservation Commission rules
Well-
on the CUP. I mean,
Well, when the last time I was before this board, the last project I did in town was Luke's Way, and I got a conditional approval conditional upon the CUP. So I don't know why that's why this time I haven't notified the board yet, because I thought it was a precedent where you could get a conditional approval without a CUP approval. That's a state approval. That might not take 30 days.
No, it's
That might
not
take-
state approval.
no, it's not.
These guys approved the CUP.
Yeah. We asked the Conservation Commission to weigh in before we approved the CUP. Our process, our requirement is that they give us some input as to what they feel about the 1,400 square feet of.
If that's correct, and it probably is, then that's a whole nother issue for moving the roadway. They might say, no, we don't want you to fill that wetlands. What if they do that?
Well, I'm on the Conservation Commission, so, okay?
Go talk to them.
I'm not. No, but I mean, I think the Conservation Commission's fairly reasonable,
Me too.
looking for, and takes all things into consideration. So, the infill of wetlands is one of them, and typically, that's not something we like to do, but we understand that there are, ramifications here.
So let me ask you this. If we're going to look at fixing the safety issue from Hoyt Farm Road to Forest Street, if we address that to the satisfaction of the board, can the board see itself submitting a waiver so we don't have to get a CUP, we don't have to move that road all the way out, Stephen? Is that something, is the safety issue more important than, Hoyt Farm Road is at, 31%?
Well, you got two intersections and you have to deal with both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the reason, you weren't at the site meeting, the site visit when we
Site
looked,
walk.
and I think you guys were there.
Yes.
And what I was trying to point out is the difference between, from a standard point of view, a normal point of view, is that you're gonna, when we make that road and fill in that wetlands, those cars exiting Luke's Way are gonna stop in almost the exact same. Coles Way, the exact same spot as if we went straight. So there's no safety issue with
Oh,
that
it's-
road going
it's
straight
the-
into Hoyt Farm Road.
Right.
I
We're conflating a number of things, and so I'm going to respond to what you just said, though. If you're coming in without doing that handle there, it's going to be close to the same point, but the orientation, I think, is what,
The only thing is the 75 degrees.
right, well, that's, yeah.
75
But
degrees.
the visibility's there.
So I mean, it's turning on that whole orientation. It's not a question of where it's coming in.
But if Al
On the
has to
road.
contribute to the relocation of Hoyt Farm Road, if he didn't have to go out in a wetland, that's gonna save him some money if he just went straight up.
I'll volunteer to do that. They were not talking about assessments.
So you're
with the
saying,
town or
saying not
portions.
having to.
That's right.
Getting a waiver for the geometry if you move the road to remedy what's happening up
That's
there.
right. There's money both ways, you know, so.
I don't believe that road, I don't believe Coles Way going straight into Hoyt Farm Road is a safety issue because it's 51 degrees instead of 75. When you come up to that car and you stop and you look to your left, you're gonna look 500 feet up the hill at every car coming down at you. It's not a safety.
I'm gonna defer to,
And there's only 7 cars up there.
is there any logic to that, Mr. Keach?
There could be, but it's like where we were a month ago.
Right.
Right? None of us had heard anything about this alternative until it was shared with us by Al and Phil a month ago. And I don't think anybody in the room thought dismissed it as a poor idea.
No.
But what you did advise them is that as a board, you have to consider their proposal and they have to bring you something, put it on paper like any other applicant that's ever done business in this room has done.
Yeah.
And
That's what I did.
you did. I never saw a design plan or even a schematic of the alternative. Maybe the others did, but I didn't.
No, we haven't seen that.
I think you had a sketch,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Phil had a sketch.
It was a sketch. That was,
Our first one was,
yeah.
first middle was just a straight road, no curving.
But, I don't know how you consider something that doesn't really exist and it's a sketch. I mean, there's 3 dimensions in this world.
No, hold on. See, I think what Dan was talking about, a sketch of fixing Hoyt Farm Road and Forest Street.
Right, that was
Yeah.
a sketch.
Yeah.
That was a sketch.
That was just a sketch. And what Phil's saying
Right.
is our original application was showing Coles Way going straight.
Yeah, you
into
had a
Hoyt Farm.
skew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like getting on the turnpike and wanting to take a left, So,
I just did the same thing exiting Forest Street, getting onto Main Street to come to this meeting tonight. I had to stop and I had to turn to my left
Oh, it's a horrible, it's
to
a
make sure
horrible
no
design.
cars were
Horrible,
coming.
period.
Horrible.
all right.
But that happens how many times a day?
Yeah. So the intersection that you're designing or Phil has designed with Coles Hoyt Farm complies. We know that, right? Where this conversation has been is that, great, now we can get site-generated volume traffic safely onto and off of Hoyt Farm Road. That's wonderful.
Right.
But as Dan Kane has pointed out, there is a secondary concern of the existing geometry of the Hoyt Farm Forest Street intersection and the sufficiency of that, given the deficiencies or deficiency, to safely accommodate the incremental volume generated by the proposed subdivision. Is that correct, Dan?
Yes.
So that's a qualitative, not a quantitative thing. And, this conversation's kind of went in the direction that it is right now based on, a discussion about potential traffic studies and things of that nature. And I think I'm one that would say, we know what the problem is. The volume doesn't really matter. It's a qualitative issue one way or the other. And is there an easy fix out there? And maybe it's the solution that you've put forward, as a sketch. I haven't looked at that. I don't think Dan Garlington's looked at that. I'm not even certain if anybody on the board has really looked at that. So how is this board supposed to agree with you and give you a conditional approval on something that hasn't even been drawn?
We weren't asking.
I'm not asking for that. That's not what I'm asking for. The sketch that Dan's talking about, Phil and I looked at, and it's moving Hoyt Farm Road 100 feet.
Right.
If you move a Hoyt Farm Road 100 feet, then you get to the 280 line of sight coming from both directions.
Right.
Right. That's the safety issue that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking, I guess I can't get
You
it.
don't want to do both, is what you're saying,
Well,
correct?
well, if I don't do both, then we can solve this whole thing right here amongst us. We can get the waiver, and then Phil can put on a plan, something that Steve and Dan and you, Dan, and Dan Garlington, and Phil and me can all agree alleviates the safety issue from Hoyt Farm Road to Forest Street. And the question is there an appetite for a waiver to leave Coles Way exiting straight onto Forest Street the way it was originally designed by Phil, where we're at 50,
Straight onto Hoyt Farm.
straight onto Hoyt Farm, where we're at 51% instead of 75%.
51 degrees.
51
Yeah,
degrees
50
instead of 75 degrees.
And one of the reasons that's not unreasonable is that when you look at, if you come up the proposed road, Hoyt Farm Road is curving away from it. So you're really not, it's not like two roads are meeting like this. You've got the new road coming up and then Hoyt Farm Road curves away. So the visibility is a lot better than what the angle would tell you it is. And you can see that when you're out there.
Not just that, to what we were talking about earlier, if it's only 51 and the visibility's okay, what we were saying earlier is it's only 7 people up there, so it's okay. We don't have to, qualify for the whole 75 degrees because it's less traffic. The only people that are coming down that hill are the 7 people on Hoyt Farm Road, so it's not like there's 100 people coming down Hoyt Farm Road running into Coles Way. So I think it'd be a good place that might be open to interpretation for a waiver to the 51%. And then we can design the road to be fixed to get the 280 degrees we want for the safety issue on Forest. And
Let me complicate it for a little bit here. Let's say, the plan that complies right now, that you're going to remedy all these things, resubmit to our.
it's not.
Well, okay, whatever. But that's the one we know is going to work.
Right.
And we go out at a time between now and the next meeting and define what it is, what the is with respect to Forest Street and Hoyt Farm. And would you be amenable to contributing something, not necessarily, in trust or whatever to the town to remedy that intersection?
So the
You know what I mean? It doesn't, and we're not saying it has to be like, it has to be 50-50 and, something onerous and crushing.
The answer-
But it'd be something that the town has to fix these things and,
They do.
The answer to that question would probably be yes.
Okay.
I'm reasonable, right?
Right.
But the reason that I probably don't want to do that, and I'd rather take this other path, is what I was talking about before time, because you're talking about something.
because this is something that could be fixed,
Involving a
could be fixed
town
later.
and all sorts of, they're getting estimates, and God, I can see myself here next July.
Well, the way I'm interpreting Richard's view is that we engage in this engineering, analysis, come up with a general number, and then there's a number you would contribute. And that's the extent. You don't have to build the road. You don't have to do anything.
So the decision would approve the subdivision, but the reconstruction of Hoyt Farm Road, you have to get approval through the town
It
itself.
becomes a town thing.
And we would not be prohibited from building the
So this-
subdivision.
Just what it should be.
That's correct.
That's
So I have
what
a
I'm
question.
saying.
This board has the authority to approve that number?
I mean, if you were to say, I'm thinking, and I'm just going back on precedent. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had applications in front of us that have, where traffic calming and other types of issues were in front of us.
We made Walmart hire a policeman.
Exactly.
So,
We did.
so my answer to that, given past practice, would be yes.
Okay.
So before the next meeting, we have to have a site meeting.
Yeah, with Dan Garland.
Yep,
Right.
that's
You-
number one.
you-
That's the first thing to do. Have the
Yeah.
site meeting and see what everybody comes up.
And
with.
I'd want Shay to be the part of that.
Yep.
too.
And then
That's fine.
Yep.
we need to meet with Shay to come up with conditions for approval. You had mentioned that.
Well, again, I think you've got some work to do so that we can make a shorter list. I would only put the cart before the horse, right?
We want to get to the next meeting, we want to get approval at the
Right.
next meeting. So to do that, we have to meet with you and Shay to put together a conditions list for the board to vote on.
Right,
I
after.
would like to see an application that's, that's going to be in front of us, and there are going to be conditions for approval, and I'm not going to see, 3 pages of things that need to be done.
Basically, I'd like to see the same thing. I'd like to see the corrections made so that, whatever the characters are printed on this piece of paper, Phil, right? Whatever number of them are, that they just fall on the floor, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, and then what's left is things like receipt of state permits, sureties, things of that nature that are customary conditions of approval.
Now that,
You have to remember, RSA 676-4, board's procedures on plats, give a board authority to do one of 3 things with an application. They can approve it, they can deny it, or they can approve conditions. When they approve with conditions, those conditions must be objective. There can't be subjectivity, because the subjectivity in the analysis is reserved for a planning board, not for staff, not for me, not for just the chairman by himself, because that's the way the statute reads, right? So as you go through this, having receipt of state permits, receipt of favorable review of condominium documents by town council. Those are all yes, no's, right? Receipt of final engineering review, that's a yes, no. But things that invoke need for subjective consideration, that's reserved for the board. So you're gonna be careful on
Yeah,
what
I'm not-
we wanna push off think we can push off the conditions.
well, and for this cup permit, is it possible for us to file that and have a decision from conservation for the board before the next meeting?
It's already filed.
Yeah. Have we filed that have you submitted that to the Conservation Commission?
No, I just hired Cheryl Bentley a few days ago. She's got the flags, the locations, all the stuff that we were talking about.
So the Conservation Commission meets on the first Thursday of the month. So they meet the first Thursday of August.
So we could have something before the October 19th meeting,
As far as the condo docs and the wording that you read in the regulations,
October?
August, sorry.
that
August.
Yeah, October.
doesn't say that has to be done before.
August.
Give 'em a heart
What it
attack.
says is,
Third one.
the condo docs have to be approved by town council,
October, August 9th.
but it doesn't have to be approved before the plan's approved.
Yeah, I would read it as that.
What?
I would read it as that.
That's the way I read it too. So we don't have to have those condo docs approved, but as a condition of approval, we have to
They
follow
need
that
to be
section of
approved.
the
yes.
regulation.
Yes.
Okay, that's important. So we revise the plan, we meet on site, we file the CUP permit. Condo docs aren't necessary for approval, right, at this point, but it's a condition of approval. And then we have to meet with Shay to come up with conditions that would go on the plan.
Well, it wouldn't be on the plan.
I think in the
Or go in the
condo,
decision, I'm sorry.
the condo documents mostly are, the lawyer's just going to boilerplate them up, So I wouldn't see that as a big deal, getting them at least over, to
Yeah,
council.
it's just,
Yeah.
if there's some sort of glitch, it's not necessary to do it.
Yeah, what's going to be important is, because remember, this board has to approve condominium, right? It's part of the open space development.
Yep.
And under laws of the state of New Hampshire, condominiumization is subdivision. It is an active subdivision. These folks have the authority to approve subdivisions. They're the only entity in the town of Plastow that does. So that's why the regulations are written the way they are, right? Given the structure of what Al has opted to do, is he'll have a condominium association of 3 owners where you have your triplexes. Condominium association of 2 where you have your 2 families, right? And then those are all tied to the main part of the open space development, which this is necessarily. The mechanism that you need to do that is to talk to your attorney, if you haven't already, about doing what's called an umbrella association. Each of those individual parcels will have an association of 2 or 3 unit owners. But all of those 2 or 3 unit owners in each of those little mini associations must be part of a broader umbrella in order to manage the open space. That's central to compliance with the Plastow zoning ordinance.
And we understand that. All I'm saying is the final approval by town council isn't necessary for this board to vote on it.
No, but I think
Those
that
regulations
an outline
say
of
it has to
what,
be done.
an outline of how it's going to be formed is, these folks need to know that.
I mean, and that's what at least the guidance I would follow, is I'd least like to see the draft,
I mean, we have to give something to our legal counsel, and the legal counsel has to say if it's sufficient. I mean, and that's the end of it. It's just they review it, and if it's in compliance, from this board's perspective, then that's been satisfied.
That's fine.
The only thing I'd ask, when you have that meeting on those roads, if you just let me know, I'll show up as a selectman, because Hoyt Farm Road is a town-owned road. So it's a selectman, so we're in charge of those town-owned roads.
So I think it would probably be wise to arrange the meeting out through Shay, when she'll be back the first of the week.
You're not coming tomorrow?
What's tomorrow?
Sidewalk.
We're not going to have Shay. She's on vacation.
All right.
I got to be in Amherst tomorrow, brother.
I'm going to open up, before, you're going to be granting us an extension, I assume.
Evidently.
Okay. All right. So before I read that motion or whatever, I'm going to open, if there's anyone from the public that has any comment that they want to have with respect to these 2 applications, 2605 and 2618. If you're here, you can come forward. Yeah, just give your name, your address, and you'll need to speak into a microphone just so that it can be picked up.
Diana Huff, 75 Forest Street.
Yeah, speak into that microphone.
Diana Huff, 75 Forest Street, and just again, that I've said the last 2 meetings, and with respect to Mr. Keach, it's not just quantitative, that there are going to be this many vehicles based on this number of residences. It's all the other stuff that gets added into 29 units being added. So all the delivery, everything. So I just want to point that out, and that, yes, that intersection is very dangerous, which I've already stated multiple times. So I just want that to be on the record.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to comment on this public hearing? Okay. All right, so draft motion here. I move to extend the 65-day timeline for the application for a lot consolidation.
We don't do that, do
Well,
we?
it's a draft motion.
I know, but
You granted it to
he's
us.
the one who grants it.
All right.
Do we need to make a motion?
If you don't want to do it as a motion, I
Well,
could
I'm
just
just
state.
asking.
I could just state.
If you want to make a motion, make a motion.
I make a
Make a
motion.
motion to accept the extension.
Yeah, right.
I move to accept the 65-day timeline for the application for a lot consolidation, a lot line adjustment, and a 12-lot PRD subdivision as noted in the Planning Board Matter 2605 to August 19th, 2026. The board continues the public hearing to the public meeting on the date beginning at 6:30 p.m. This is the official notice of the continuance, and there will be no additional written notification provided. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
All right, any discussion on it? And whether or not we had to have a motion or not? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, 500.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night, guys.
All right. I guess. Mr. Couillard. Al. Jeez. Did they make the call? Right. Just for consistency, 2618, you'll be granting us an extension for that also, correct?
I grant the board an extension.
Okay, so this is for 2618. All right. Sorry, I move to accept the continuance of the application for conditional use. Never mind. All right, never mind. I didn't think we had to do it. We have to, all right, he's granted us an extension for 2618, which is the Conservation Commission.
Correct.
All right, okay.
Because I think we'll be outside the 65 days.
It'll be
I
close.
think August 8th, our August meeting will be outside,
Okay.
just outside.
All right.
Yeah, right. First Thursday, yeah.
All right, next on the agenda, TV 2620. Let's take a second to get my oriented.
I want to make sure that
TV 2620, the completeness of an application from Michael Burke for a lot line adjustment that proposes to transfer equal parcels of plus or minus 45,302 square feet between 51 Newton Road, tax map 67, lot 22, and 2 Daybreak Drive, tax map 67, block 32, lot 2, which are both in the IRC zoning district. The property owners of record are Michael Burke and James Laurencio, Powerhouse Realty Trust, and Rebel 2021 Trust, Ralph and Noreen LaBelle, TR. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing. All right, do I have a motion to accept the application is complete?
I'll make a motion to accept the application.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? 500. All right. Floor is yours.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Tom Schomberg of SEC Associates here on behalf of the applicant for this lot line adjustment application. As mentioned, this application involves 2 abutting properties, tax map 67, lot 22, owned by Michael Burke, and tax map 67, lot 23-2, owned by Ralph LaBelle. The first parcel is identified on the town of Plastow's tax maps as map 67, lot 22, located at 51 Newton Road. This property contains 52,186 square feet, or 1.2 acres, and has frontage on Newton Road totaling 199.35 feet. The second parcel is identified on the town of Plastow's tax maps as map 67, lot 23-2, located at 2 Daybreak Drive. This property contains 391,526 square feet, or 8.99 acres, with frontage on Newton Road totaling 335.84 feet, and frontage along Daybreak Drive totaling 110.20 feet. The intent of this application is to transfer land shown as parcel A on the attached plan was submitted from lot 67-23-2 to lot 67-22. This parcel A contains 45,274 square feet, so 1.04 acres, and would transfer 65.04 feet of frontage along Newton Road as well. The transfer would result in lot 67-22 containing 97,460 square feet, 2.24 acres, with 264.39 feet of frontage on Newton Road, and lot 67-23-2 containing 346,252 square feet, 7.95 acres, with 270.8 feet of frontage on Newton Road. The lot line adjustment will not result in any zoning nonconformities beyond the existing nonconformity of lot 67-22 in respect to area. The application is intended to meet all applicable zoning requirements and doesn't need any state approvals or permits at this time. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them if I'm able.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward.
I'll say the same thing.
Just gonna open it up. Any member of the board have anything to ask specifically?
It actually makes the existing lot less, when you combine them, less non-conforming.
Yes, yep.
So, as a byproduct of our ordinance, it can never go back to being, it can never spring back to its existing nonconformity in terms of lot area. You know what I mean?
It's pretty straightforward.
Doesn't change the nature of the nonconformity. It just, what it does is it just, as it relates to what is the only nonconformity here is lot area, right?
Yeah.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So this now makes that either conforming or less nonconforming. I didn't do the math. It just has to stay. This now becomes the new norm.
You're memorializing it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I agree, it's pretty. It's nice to see good neighbors.
Yep.
Is there anyone else in the public that has any comment that they want to make with respect to this PB 26-20? All right.
So I'll move to the
So we can,
I move to accept the application to complete for a lot line adjustment between 51 Newton Road, tax map 67, lot 23-2, and 2 Daybreak Drive, tax map 67, 2, that exchanges equal portions of land and it's described in the legal notice for PB number 26-20.
got to read the rest.
Oh, that's where it ended. What else?
Well, the conditions right here. So
The application proposes that. Like you just read
with
this, right here, read that.
Continue. Looking at it. All right, so I move.
I didn't see it again. Okay.
You got to read the rest.
Conditional approval, is that what you wanted me to
Yes.
read? Oh, I move to the lot line adjustment between 51 Newton Road, tax map 67, lot 23-2, and 2 Daybreak Drive, tax map 67, lot 22, that exchanges equal plus minus 45,302 SF, parentheses 1.04 AC, areas of land is described in the legal notice for PB number 2620 with the following conditions. The final recording plans will have all applicable professional stamps affixed. Monumental certification by a New Hampshire licensed land surveyor is submitted to the planning department. The planning board signature block is added to the plan sheets. The new frontage for each parcel will be clearly marked on the plan sheets. All conditions are met, and the recording materials are submitted to the planning department within 60 days of the conditional approval.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. All right. No problem. Additional notes and recommendations. Bonding. There are no infrastructure or site work being proposed under this plan that would require bonding. LCHIP fee. There will also be an LCHIP fee of $25 payable to Rockingham County Registry of Deeds required at the time of recording of the plan. Deed recording. Once the lot line adjustment plan is recorded, it is the applicant's responsibility to have the new deeds prepared and recorded that will reflect the new dimensions of the lot. Impact fees. There are no applicable impact fees for a lot line adjustment application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I should have probably closed the public hearing. So, yeah, closing the public hearing at 7:43.
Yep.
All right. Take a second to reorient.
Okay.
All right. Next application, PB 26-21, the completeness of an application from JJ Lambs LLC for review of a two-lot subdivision to create one residential lot and one remaining lot for a total of plus or minus 17.98 acres. The property is located at 244 Main Street, tax map 18, lot 10, in the MDR and LDR zoning districts. The applicant is the property owner of record. The application is found to be complete. The planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing. Do I have a motion to accept the application?
I move to accept the application for a two-lot subdivision of the parcel known as 244 Main Street as detailed in the legal notice for the planning board application. 26-21 is complete.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on the completeness of the application? All right. Yes. Any discussion on the completeness of the application, Dan? All right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? 5-0-0. All right.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Tom Schomburg of SEC Associates here on behalf of the applicant for this subdivision application. The parcel that we are discussing is identified on the town of Plastow's tax maps as map 18, lot 10, located at 244 Main Street. This property contains 783,244 square feet, 17.98 acres, with two segments of frontage along Main Street, totaling 1,138.75 feet. The parcel is wooded throughout with topography that ranges from relatively flat areas to moderately sloped areas. On the northeast corner of the parcel, Kelly Brook runs through the parcel out to the east under Main Street. There is a flood hazard zone associated with that brook, located along the brook and along a small portion of the southerly end of the property. There are several wetlands on the site, as identified by Timothy Verwerda, our wetland scientist, consisting of poorly and very poorly drained soils. A small portion of the southerly area of the lot is within an aquifer protection district. This parcel is within two zones: the medium density residential zone, which runs along the frontage and 500 feet from the center line of Main Street to the center line of Kelly Brook, as well as the low density residential zone. There is a small section of frontage at the end of Linwood Street along the southerly boundary. It is a boundary that that Carlton Path, aka Frog Pond Road, is located, which does cross into the property at one point. This proposal is to subdivide the lot into two lots, with proposed lot 10-2 being in the northern portion of the property. This lot would have 490.76 feet of frontage along Main Street, containing 130,901 square feet, 3.01 acres. The lot is bisected by Kelly Brook, and thus the zone line for the MDR and LDR zones. The lot would contain 40,085 square feet of contiguous upland area in the MDR zone to satisfy the requirements of the zoning ordinance. A dwelling location and proposed 4,000 square foot receiving area are shown on the plan. These are for graphic representation only, and a disposal system design would need to be approved prior to construction. At this time, no work is proposed on the remaining land of Lot 10. The application is intended to meet all applicable zoning requirements and will need NHDES subdivision approval as well as a driveway permit from NHDOT. Both applications are pending. If there are any questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to answer them. Also with me tonight, we do have a title attorney, Sean Dunphy of Cronin, Bisson, and Zielinski, here to discuss matters of title.
Good evening, everyone. As was stated, my name is Sean Dunphy. I am an attorney here in New Hampshire. We anticipated tonight that there would be a question about the title raised by an abutter. So I'm just here to discuss the title and our review of the title, although it's a little beyond this board's review. My client purchased the property back in 2021. At that time, he anticipated buying the whole thing. There was a question raised about the deed description at that point. So he reached out to the seller of the property who signed what's called a confirmatory deed to confirm that what the property looks like today is what he purchased. This property has been surveyed multiple times. There have been lot line adjustments around it that have included boundaries. My office reviewed the title of the property and nothing has come up in terms of issues with that aspect. So I'm just here tonight to confirm that what you're looking at is the property.
Is there anything in this application indicating that you did this review and you're sort of certifying that everything's okay, or is it just your that's testimony today?
And the survey is accurate. I mean, a licensed surveyor went and reviewed the meets and bounds, did the on-site work, and yes, I'm here to confirm that that is correct.
Okay. Do you have a question with respect to the LDR, MDR?
Well, not really that. It's just that there's a fair amount, there's been no engineering review on this.
No.
And there's a fair amount of drainage calculations, and everything, which the first thing I look at is, okay, I'm going to want an engineer to tell me we're okay. So one of my feelings is that this probably gets continued to at least we have our engineer review it. I'm more amenable to cleaning comments up as part of a conditional approval, but when I don't even have the comments, I'd like to, that's my overall comment. I mean, I think the plan the notion of the plan as a straight subdivision is fairly innocuous, but in terms of, I think there's some meat here that probably we need some guidance on. That's just my opinion.
Ms. Keach, is this would be something you would review anyways, correct? Because I think, there is some language where.
I saw that in there, and I wasn't familiar with this. Shay has not sent me this.
Okay.
But, I could, to the extent that Dan has mentioned, that you could do that if you wanted to, as a condition even.
It's being phrased that, it's an option to us, but I think, what we just said before in a previous application, maybe we don't want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Phrasing it that way.
Maybe somebody-
I'm just curious, is there anything more official that you would be willing to provide? You're here testifying with respect to, deeds and things like that. You have something that's memorializing your legal analysis.
I guess, if I could, if necessary, but the deed, it speaks to the boundaries.
Yeah, I know. But, like I said, you're here testifying. Is there anything that you could just memorialize in your testimony, just for the record?
Letter, is that what you're looking for?
Your conclusions.
Sure.
No?
Do we need that? I think we start going down a slippery slope,
it's a little
personally.
beyond
If we have a deed,
Yeah.
that would seem to be the determining The issue when we first discussed this project almost a year ago was the deed didn't match the site plan. It does now.
I'll also like to note as well that at least for the purposes of this subdivision, the kind of boundary area in question is kind of well outside of where the actual new lot is.
Okay.
So in terms of any potential conflict, this new lot should be kind of removed from that.
Would you be amenable to just continuing this application to August 19th?
Yeah,
Just to allow for,
Just to allow for
engineering review.
sure. Yeah, and I can speak a little bit on the drainage as well. So at least for the proposed lot, currently we again just have a placeholder house box driveway location. And as far as managing drainage for it, we're proposing roof dry wells and an infiltration trench, basically just to offset the increase in runoff from the impervious areas. Those would be sized at a later date. Again, just once we have a final footprint. But just wanted to add what I can for that. So,
Anyone on the board have any questions with respect to this? I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this particular application? Please give your name and your address and make sure you're speaking into the microphone so that you can be picked up on audio. Video.
Hi, I'm James Mosher. I'm in a butter, tax map 18 lot 5, 3 Carlton Path. I have a statement for you. Planning board application boundary adjustment. Good evening. My name is James Mosher. I am a butter and interested party. I'm asking the board to follow its own rules and deny the JJAM's application. I think I may have the wrong number, but it's 260915. Is that correct?
Where? 2621. PB 26-21.
I'm sorry.
PB 26-21.
Okay. Tonight's application describes a 17.9 acre parcel being subdivided into 2 lots. JJAMBS deed of record, book 6249, page 329, and plan D7674 establishes their baseline parcel at approximately 14.6 acres. No deed, decree, taking, or other recorded instrument has been produced to support title to the additional acreage. Throughout these proceedings, dating back to January 2025, I have repeatedly pointed to dependency problem. The rear boundary reflected on the current plans does not appear to be supported by the underlying title documents. I incorporated my prior objections into this one. The issue before you is not whether the applicant would like the different rear boundary. The issue is whether the competent documentary support for the boundary being shown. The applicant has previously and continues to rely on a 2025 conformatory deed. As established property law provides, a conformatory deed can only clarify an existing conveyance and cannot create title to land not previously owned. The board has repeatedly stated that it cannot adjudicate title disputes. I agree. Because the board cannot adjudicate title, it cannot supply missing title evidence. The supporting instruments do not establish the boundary shown on the plan. The board's role is not to validate the plan. The board's role is to deny the application until proper authority and documentation is provided. People cannot simply expand boundary line on a later map and then rely on the planning board process to convert the map into proof of ownership. If there is a legal basis for the claimed rear boundary, it should be reflected in deeds, plans, title records, or court determinations. If those records exist, they should be produced. If they do not exist, the board should deny this application. So I ask the board to what recorded deed, plan, or court decree supports the rear boundary configuration being shown on this plan. If the question cannot be answered, the application should be denied. And I also noting procedural concerns. My wife and co-owner, Susan Mosher, was omitted from the survey cover sheet, was not identified on the notice materials provided to us, and does not appear on the abutters list included with the application. Proper notice to all record owners is a fundamental procedural requirement. Allowing maps to be approved without correcting these defects does not just harm us as abutters and owners, it harms the community by weakening the reliability of the public land records and the planning board process. Thank you. I'm giving you a copy to put into tonight's meeting notes and minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak to it? Make sure, just your name and your address, and make sure you please speak into the microphone.
Certainly. I'm just going to, I have a visual aid. 3 pages. One is my tax bill dated May 20th.
Who are you?
I apologize. Kimberly Raymond.
Where do you live?
I live in Kingston, New Hampshire, but I am the owner of map 31 parcel 009, also known as 7 Linwood Street. I have a copy of my tax bill. I'm going to pass it around. I have a copy of the abutters list that's in the package before the board.
What was the property number?
31-009.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes. So,
Okay.
so is it an abutting property?
Yes, it
that's
is.
that one of the vertices of this this lot here?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Well, how is it abutting the property?
It's right up in
I think it's
It's
right
at the
here.
corner.
See the little corner right there?
It's right at the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in the bus.
And I have a may I continue? I'm sorry.
Sure.
I want to make sure you're all set.
Also.
Okay. And I have a blown up portion of the face sheet of the map before the board. If you could pass these around, you'll see the inconsistencies. And I have a statement to read. I will email it to the board after, and I would like a written response for my records. Good evening. My name is Kimberly Raymond. I'm an abutter and an interested party. I'm here in opposition of the J.J. Ames subdivision application 26-21. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yep.
Okay. Nobody mentioned the name. I have appeared before this board on multiple occasions to raise concerns about inaccuracies in maps, ownership references, parcel references, street references, and related public records. Tonight, I am not asking the board to resolve every record issue that has been raised. I'm asking the board to focus on a narrower document-based question. What recorded instrument supports the rear boundary configuration and the area being added or represented in the current materials before the board? Public boards have extraordinary authority because the public is entitled to rely on the accuracy of the records they create, accept, and approve. When inaccurate information becomes incorporated into maps, plans, notices, assessments, online listings, lending records, title records, and public databases, the resulting harm is not confined to a single parcel owner. It can affect neighbors, lenders, purchasers, title reviewers, municipalities, and the public generally. Despite extensive review, no recorded source of title to the disputed 4± acres has been identified in the materials presented to the board. If the applicant contends that such a recorded source exists, I respectfully ask that it be identified clearly before the board relies on the current plan. I am also concerned that Elaine M. Schultz continues to be omitted from ownership references associated with the current materials, despite the ownership status reflected in public tax records. If ownership information appearing in maps, notices, or submissions is inconsistent with current public records, the board should understand how those discrepancies were evaluated before relying on those materials. I brought to tonight's meeting the tax bill for map 31-009. It shows two owners of record, Kimberly J. Raymond and Elaine M. Schultz. The abutters list submitted with this application shows only one name. The notice received shows only one name. And the face sheet of the map before the board only shows one name. And they didn't even get that one name right. This is the type of ownership attribution error I am asking the board to address. For that reason, I respectfully ask the board to address the following questions before taking action. 1, what recorded instrument supports the rear boundary configuration shown on the current plan? 2, what recorded instrument supports the applicant's ownership or control of the disputed 4 plus or minus acres or area being added? 3, has this application undergone legal review by town council concerning the title dependency and ownership verification concerns that have been repeatedly raised? 4, if so, how may an interested abutter obtain access to that review? 5, what process is being used to verify that public maps, notices, and ownership representations are supported by underlying instruments and current public records? My harm is practical and record-based. Inaccurate public records affect ownership attribution, address attribution, notice rights, title review, lending records, public identification of affected properties, and my ability to rely upon governmental records concerning my property and neighboring properties. This board's authority rests on the public trust. That trust depends on accuracy. Accuracy cannot be assumed. It must be demonstrated. I respectfully ask the board not to approve or rely upon the current materials unless the supported title documents and ownership verification process are clearly identified on the record. Please incorporate my statements and your responses in the minutes of the meeting for this public hearing. I also ask that I be provided with the town's formal notice of decision on this matter once it's made. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have a copy of that letter?
I'm going to email it to you, so could I grab those attachments, and I'll include those as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this application? All right. So, anything else you want to add?
Just to respond, I apologize for looking at my phone. I just want to make sure I had the correct statute to give to you on the procedural questions.
Sure.
It's RSA 676-4, Roman numeral IV. It talks about how this board isn't constricted to strict scrutiny for procedural issues, and specifically the procedural issues they're raising. I'm not conceding that they're true or valid, but it's about notice, and they were both here. So there's a case right on that by the Supreme Court that you can't show up and then complain about notice, because that's the whole point of notice. And then back to the title issue. I mean, the property's been surveyed. I know there was a lot of conclusions there. And again, it's a little beyond this board. There's other recourse for if somebody wants to challenge a boundary. Happy to deal with it in another venue, but it shouldn't be an issue for this board.
Sorry, could I get that reference you provided? RSA what?
676-4, Roman numeral IV.
Thank you.
Sorry, I know it's supposed to be directed at you, not her, so.
No problem. Just a question, ma'am.
Yeah.
In terms of noticing, I mean, everyone that you were saying that wasn't properly noticed, were they here? I mean, it's just
I
yes or no.
understand.
You're here.
I believe I understand. My issue is not about the notice, whether I got notice. It's whether the information in these documents are accurate.
Yeah, but my question's more specific. Everyone that was saying that, where we talked about, whether or not they were noticed properly or not, if it was defective or not, they were here though, correct?
I can't speak to that. Would you like me to read that
Delosia was
section
here,
again
you were
about
here.
my concern about the
No.
address attribution?
No.
And that if the records, I'm sorry.
I'm one of those people.
But you're
Oh.
here, right?
I know, but
Okay.
I'm also the abutter. I'm one of the same people.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure that there wasn't,
And I read in my statement that my information was incorrect as well.
okay.
And then if you allow these incorrect references to be recorded, as I've mentioned, it has a wide, profound rippling effect.
I understand what you were saying.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? 'Cause-
No.
Thank you.
All right. At least from an engineering perspective, I'm going to continue this meeting to August 19th and give our engineer at least an opportunity to review the particulars of the site plan request. And August 19th will constitute the notice that you have for the next meeting. There won't be anything else published to that effect. So if you want to attend next meeting, August 19th, then at 6:30 here,
Not quite my issue, but yes, thank you.
just conveying the facts. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Motion or anything else?
No, we're continuing the public
You have to
hearing. It's not,
continue it.
the public hearing is not closed. It's continued to August 19th.
Thank you very much for
Right.
clarification.
All right.
Do you remember that?
What's that?
Do you remember that?
All right. Next on the agenda. PB 2622, the completeness of an application from Stephen Corey for review of an amended site plan that proposes a change of use for office and restaurant. The property is located at 71 Plastow Road, tax map 27, lot 36, in the C1 zoning district. The property owner of record is SAK Development, LLC. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct the public hearing. All right.
All right, I move to accept the application for the amended site plan as noted in the legal notice PB number 26-22. The property located 71 Plastow Road, tax map 27, lot 36, in the C1 zoning district is complete.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dan. Any discussion on the completeness of the application? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Who are you?
Last time, I promise. Again, Tom Schomburg of SEC Associates, here on behalf of the applicant for this change of use site plan review for the property located at 71 Plastow Road within the Commercial 1 zoning district. The property has 448.46 feet of frontage along Plastow Road, being Route 125, as well as 11.52 feet of frontage along Joanne Drive, consisting of approximately 40,088 square feet, 0.92 acres. The lot contains an existing two-story office building, parking areas, septic system, and well to support the existing use. There is also an existing foundation that was associated with a previous filing on the property currently. The site generally grades from Main Street toward the rear of the lot where a wetland system exists. These wetlands were delineated in June of 2026 by Luke Hurley, CWS 232. The applicant is formally requesting a change in use for the subject property, transitioning from its current office space use to a combined office and ice cream stand use. The proposed plan provides for the conversion of the first floor of the existing office building into a walk-up ice cream stand, while the second floor will remain office space. The ice cream stand will support 4 dippers and 4 employees, utilizing the existing septic system. There will be 4 42-inch wide by 36-inch high walk-up serving windows to be proposed along the side of the building. The existing well is to be discontinued and a connection to the town water is proposed. The proposed sewage loading from this change of use will not exceed the treatment capabilities of the existing system. Again, that system was installed based on that previous filing, so it's rather oversized for what's currently there. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them if I'm able to.
Okay. I think this is just a note in the staff discussion, I think. I mean, this particular property, does it have, it looks like there's a, what do you want to call it? Is there a pool? Is that a pool? A foundation?
It's foundation.
It's an open foundation?
Yep. At this point, I'm not aware of any changes to it. It kind of just there. It was, again, it was associated with that, with that previous filing. So from what I understand, it was going to be some kind of expansion of the property. It was permitted. The leach field was installed for it, but then the building was never finished. So it's just been the foundation. So at least for right now, we're just proposing, just a nicer wooden fence in front of it. I'm not sure about any plans to remove the foundation.
This one makes me a little bit uncomfortable, given the size of it. And, we're looking at an ice cream stand, which the first thing I think of is kids. And, what's the protection around an open foundation? Does it have water in it now?
It is fenced out already, and we did.
Got to go through the drill.
You gotta
Name,
come up.
address. Speaking to the mic.
Steve Corey, 71 Plastow Road. I am the person trying to get the ice cream stand going. So there was a metal fence that was surrounding that foundation. From my belief, it was built in 2002. I'm not 100% accurate on that date, but it's been there for a long time. It did have a metal fence around it. We just recently put a wooden fence around it, so there's no concerns for anybody falling in or having any issues with any attention to it.
Does the wooden fence circumvent the whole foundation? Or is it
The
just
metal
front
fence,
for
the metal
aesthetic?
fence does, but where there'll be parking and access to where the lawn is, that is covered with a wooden fence. I do have a picture on my phone I can show you if you'd like.
So the wooden fence is sort of an aesthetic facade.
Covered in the whole thing.
Right.
Forget it.
I'm sorry. It is still there.
Yes, yeah.
The metal is completely around, but not the wood.
That's okay.
I think the wood, I drove by, someone was painting it today.
Correct, my kids. I had them out there working for the summer. I could show you a picture if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't know how you get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
saying to get rid of it. I'm just saying it's a definite,
Yeah, no, you got to make sure.
it's of more than just a little concern, but I mean,
Not have
blocking it
kids
off.
falling into an open
Yeah, I
foundation.
just like it's
Well, isn't that what
misadventure,
that's all
you know?
about?
Yeah.
It looks it's fenced all the way around, right?
Yeah, it's fenced anyway, metal fenced all around it.
And it is an eyesore, so I mean, with the wooden fence and the metal fence, it is covered and
Yeah, it
it's not
dresses it up.
noticeable to
Does it
anyone.
have water in it right now?
Has nothing in it, no.
Okay.
Is there concrete floor?
No, it's not even completed.
So it has drainage.
So the drains were put on the side of it.
I'm saying the floor drains naturally if there's no concrete.
Correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't accumulate any water, no.
Kind of weird that it's.
Steve, this wasn't forwarded to you for any type of review or anything like
No,
that?
but I'd be interested in tasting the ice cream.
Well, here's the thing. It's got wetlands boundaries. to me, the traffic flow is, I don't see any crossing striping here or anything, delineating how you move from
No?
across, the traffic lane, especially the one coming, assuming that you're being, the majority of your access will come from 125 heading north.
Well, it'd be accessible for both ways.
Well, it would be south, but you have to come down Joanne Drive, right?
Well, at the intersection, you
Yeah,
can take
you have
left
to
into
come,
it, correct.
take the left and the left. And then you've got parking kind of in the driveway area, that little bump out. Right? Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, there is there. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that don't kill the plan, but they're things I think you need to start addressing and stuff. And I still think I would recommend that Steve take a gander at this.
Because I think one of our staff recommendations was that in terms of lighting, we would have sort of discretion on that. Circulation patterns, I assume that means, arrows that say that you go this way and you can go this way.
Basically, entry only on Joanne and exit
And
on.
then exit on the other, right?
That should be
Yep.
I mean, I don't necessarily, see anything that would.
I don't off the top, but, we sit next to wetlands.
But it's.
I mean, the structure is non-conforming because it sits inside the setback. Which doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It's just, it is what it is,
I think it'll provide a nice, safe area for people and families of the community to come in, be able to sit and enjoy an ice cream for 15 minutes or so and move on.
Yeah, no, I like the idea. I think the idea is a
I
good one.
think finally somebody's stepped up to the structure. There's been an eyesore on 125 since 2002, possibly, to do something with it.
Put any outdoor actual seating, like benches or anything?
So I was thinking about a few picnic tables, nothing major, just maybe something quick to eat and go. So I don't want
In
to.
terms of lighting, let's just say, is there anything, apart from the lights that are just on the existing
On the building
house
itself?
structure, the residence?
So we will have outdoor lighting. It will be bright enough to light up the whole area there. And there is already lighting that's around the property from 125 and also the other street there. It's not a dark spot, especially if we have it lit up at nighttime, which will only be open till 9 o'clock.
That's the other thing too.
Maybe even
There'll
less
be
in
a
the
sign,
fall.
I assume.
I'm sorry?
Maybe not even as late in the fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll probably be closed in the fall for that part. Well, for the winter, I should say.
Yeah, we get a good fall. They've done the lighting, they've covered up the hole there.
And you're utilizing the same building, right?
Yes. The only difference I'll be doing is adding a serving window
So you
to the
put some
side.
windows in, but the size of the building is the size of the building. That's
Correct.
staying the same.
Correct.
With an awning as well. And the awning is beyond the building and wetland setbacks.
Yep.
That's on the right, south side, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's fine.
I did meet with you guys back in March, I believe it was, and I ran this idea by you guys, and
I remember it.
you
Yeah,
did.
that was a while ago, I remember.
Yeah.
You did tell me to get an engineer and have it engineered so we can change the zoning, and
Right.
we're back here today. Everybody did like the idea, and I did offer free ice cream for the board.
We don't accept bribes.
Yes,
Not
yes,
bribing,
yes, we
just
do.
as a hello and welcome to the
No, but
town
we
on my part.
accept- We accept sweet cold gifts.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, was there anyone on the board other than, like I said, the only note that we had was that, there are lighting or some sort of flow
And signs
type.
going in and out.
But, so we have to kind of say something that's a little
One end,
more
one
definitive other than saying putting lights up.
That's to their advantage too.
I mean, personally, I think I'd like to see a little bit more robust plan, like where the walkways are, with striping how we're moving from across the entryway. Is filling in that foundation, an issue, or are we comfortable with fencing?
I think the middle fencing around and then also the wood fence. in front
Yeah, I
of it.
think as long as it's fenced.
Right, exactly.
Steve, what are your thoughts? Just sort of.
I haven't seen it, but as long as it's isolated, the thing that comes to my mind, how long has this foundation been there?
2002?
That's been there for a while, yeah.
I don't imagine it's useful at this point. I don't imagine your
useless.
building inspector would be glad to see a vertical construction on it. So it needs to be dealt with at some time. It's just, I imagine you're a tenant, Steve, right? You're a tenant, you're not the owner of the
I am
property.
the owner of the building.
Okay.
I did buy the building.
All right. So, it's something that needs to be dealt with sometime. I'm not sure if this is the right leverage.
Yeah.
I mean, open foundations that have been there for 24 years, if they haven't already, they soon will reach status as a public or private nuisance, right? And having a private nuisance is one thing, but when a private nuisance becomes a public nuisance, well, that's when it collides with a proceeding like this. So I use that as your yardstick, right? And as long as Mr. Corey is taking all appropriate measures to keep the public safe, I think that is a plan.
Definitely, that is the plan, to keep everybody safe and enjoy it, a fun, safe environment to provide business.
Having that thing, an unusable foundation in the ground, is something that you will obviously have to deal with in your ownership.
If you don't mind, can I show you?
Sure.
So you can see what I did do.
Yeah. No, that's all this, it's
So-
great.
And now nobody will have access. That will be.
They can't get around.
blocked
Show
off.
that to Dan.
You can't get through.
I'm blind, so.
Any bigger. So that's the foundation there.
Yeah.
And then nobody will have access beyond that point. That will be stopped right there. So, and
Okay,
it's pretty
yeah.
simple, And as I just said,
Oh,
I am
yeah.
for
No, that's
the customers, it's safety as well.
right. And that was smart to do that fence, and that's something they can
And I
climb
don't-
either.
It's ugly there. I don't want that to be seen. But behind this is a metal fence that doesn't allow anybody, and there's no access into this foundation.
Right.
Even through that metal fence, there's not a door that you can access or walk into.
Right.
It's completely blocked up.
It looks nice, the fence looks nice, it really does.
They were painting it today. I drove up 125, I know.
Okay, yep.
Thank you, Steve.
So I do want you to know that I am
No.
taking in concern of the public safety as well.
Yep.
My biggest thing, to be honest with you, is we're running out of summer, and I want to get this
Yeah,
place going. And
exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm sensitive to
And that's
that,
another
believe
thing,
me.
it's not all year.
I assure you, it will be done correctly and safely. As you can see, I am stepping up to the measurements of the building as well.
Yeah, no, and it looks very nice. I see nothing, sorry.
Well, I mean, I get, I would have no problem conditionally approving this, maybe with a little bit of tweaking to the plan, if that's a reasonable request.
What is it that you're looking
This
to add?
better delineation of where we're going to have people crossing.
Those kind of like painted stripes,
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that.
I mean, we see them all over the place. We make
But
other.
that's your main thing. Just put those as a
Yeah.
condition, and
Yeah.
because an ice cream stand, people don't hang around, right? They're in and
No,
out.
No.
exactly, it's in and out.
Definitely
No.
an exit
Right,
signs.
yes,
One in,
definitely. Yep, all they gotta do is
Would
show that.
it be able to make it two ways?
Joanne only, and an exit on 125.
Wouldn't it be possible to make it a two-way entry? It is wide enough.
I could see a two-way entry, one-way exit.
Right.
One way.
I can't take a left on 125.
So you'd have to come back down Joanne.
I'm sorry, a two-way
That Joanne
entry and
too.
exit if possible.
Yeah,
Just,
so two-way for this one, and then one-way on Joanne.
well, if it's possible is what I'm asking, to make it both a two-way in and out
On Joanne.
on Joanne and
On Joanne. you could.
and we could do an exit on 125,
Because
that's
then you come
fine.
out to the set of lights
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
You know.
Yeah.
Off
you have
But I just think,
choice.
it's
You're
wide
saying
enough.
Joanne's the only entrance in?
Well, I would like
And
for
exit.
both to have full access because, people drive by.
And then you notice it.
You
once
don't want them
pass
to go all
Joanne.
the way down and turn around and then say, oh, I missed it. Forget it. Let's just keep going.
No, I'm with you 100%. You need that 125.
I
Yeah, you have to,
think
yeah,
both can be
absolutely.
made wide enough with a center stripe if necessary.
Yep.
For both exits and entrances from both.
You've
both
got
ways.
enough space there.
There is. And if necessary, we can make it wider,
I mean,
but I think it's,
Got enough.
it's wide enough
looks
for
like,
sure.
yeah.
It's
I
enough.
mean, I'd be okay because Joanne leave enough there, you get the set of lights right there.
Right.
And that's
Right,
not like a real
exactly.
busy road, Joanne Drive.
No.
And don't forget, you do have that stop sign, the stoplight that's there. So even on the 125, if people coming in and out, there's always a break and nobody's really on Joanne
Exactly.
Drive.
Yeah, no, I'm more interested when the cars get on the site. Is that we have the right striping.
Yeah.
So let's make that as a condition then, right?
So how are you looking to phrase, how are you looking
Have
to
the
phrase
signs
that?
and
And that's what
striping on
I'm
it.
trying to think.
Okay.
How would you phrase it, right?
Signs.
You'd conditionally improve that there's a walking path, like just kind of like lines drawn and parking spots.
I'd say the
Just extending
parking
this just to
spots
show how
and
these
getting
guys are
in
gonna-
and out.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Right.
To be
You
marked.
don't want them to, walk this way.
Oh, all right. That's
Yeah, and there is no lighting shown here,
Yeah.
for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So what's the plan? I mean,
So sorry to interrupt, but there are street lighting enough on the side going down the driveway, but as well as we will have more lighting from the awning, under the awning, as well as on the building for the parking lot.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna, at 9 o'clock at night when it gets dark. I'm not saying you need to light this up like New York City, but you do need some more light. I mean, under our site plan regulations, I don't think this qualifies right now. But I'd have to pull them out. Because where is the lighting here? When I'm looking at this plan, where do I see it?
Yeah, so at least on this plan, it would just be on the U-poles on 125.
Okay, so that's all it's,
As well as on the building, there will be lighting coming off
yeah,
of the building.
that would be, in my view, that would be insufficient.
We could add a couple light bulbs if not
I
one
mean,
or two.
you don't have to add I mean, if you look, you have from the middle of the driveway coming out, what do you have, 6, 7 spaces there? I mean,
We're talking 1 or 2 light poles.
yeah, you're not talking a
right.
lot, but
And it could be like, not like light pole you see
Light
on a
poles.
street.
Yeah, right.
one of the things that happens, we start going down the slippery slope, we're actually designing their plan for
I
them,
hear
I just,
Well, for your concern, I have no negative thoughts to what you're saying, and I would like to light it up as well to make it safe as well. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing, right, to be more lit up?
I don't know how to phrase it.
yeah, I don't know.
You
'cause
could
we-
do it in a way that, because you do have a code,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And in order to do what you're advocating, he's going to need to get an electrical permit, right? So you have your building department verify code in when granting the electrical permit.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, is that, because, does that make sense, Tom? Yeah. Steve?
I think so.
Yeah.
That way you're doing your code administration with your code administration people.
Yeah, and we don't have to wordsmith this into.
Oh, and it makes your life easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't happen often enough.
So in terms of if we were to add something there for conditional
Follow the
approval,
The lighting.
it would be code adequate
Code adequate
lighting.
for
Lighting,
Yeah, code compliant.
code
Yep,
compliant
code
lighting.
compliant. There you go. Yep.
So these would be.
Lighting.
And I believe in the site plan regs, I believe they have the striping requirements.
Yes, we
I
can.
think-
They have to, they said that. They have to have the stripes for the directions.
All right, so then how are we going to phrase the
This,
striping?
you know,
Code compliance striping?
compliance with
Compliance
site
striping.
plan on
All right.
parking, traffic.
Well, there is a code. It's called the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, right, Tom?
That's it.
So compliance striping.
Oh, there you go. Manual of Uniform Traffic Control. The MUTC.
That's right. You probably have a copy of that, don't you?
PDF.
Anyone from the public want to speak to this particular application? All right. So if there's no more,
No?
then I'm going to close the public hearing for this at 8:34. All right. You want to move to conditional approval? All right, conditional approval. I move to approve the application for amended site plan as noted in the legal notice PB 26-22 for the property located at 71 Plastow Road, tax map 27, lot 36, in the C1 zoning district with the following conditions. All applicable professional stamps shall be affixed to the final plan for recording. New Hampshire DOT driveway permit submitted to the planning department, permit number added to the plan. All conditions of approval shall be met in the final plans for recording submitted to the planning department within 45 days of receipt of the state permit, MUTC compliant striping, and code compliant lighting to be added to the site. All right, do I have a second?
Second it.
All right, I'll say Karen.
Okay,
You think,
put
Rich,
him down.
that you got it? All right, any discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 500. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Have a good night.
It still extends, once we're open.
luck.
Come get some ice cream.
Stephen, good luck with your business.
Thank you.
Yes, that's what I say.
Absolutely, good luck.
Good luck.
All right, just reorient. All right, good grief. All right, next on the agenda, PB 26-23, the completeness of an application from Hannah International Foods for review of an amended site plan that proposes reducing the proposed building addition and reconfiguring the park area. The property is located at 132 Plastow Road, tax map 29, lot 3 in the C1 zoning district. The property owner of record is 132 Plastow Road Realty Trust. The application is found to be complete. The planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing.
I move to accept the application for an amended site plan at the property located at 132 Plastow Road. Tax map 29, lot 3 in the C1 zoning district is complete.
All right.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Michael Malinowski with Allen & Major Associates. We had been before you last year for the same site. And based on some internal review with the owner and their processes for the facility, they've opted to reduce the overall square footage of the building addition. That if you'll note that the previous addition had a new expanded loading dock and things of that nature, they have opted to sort of scale that back for this facility and utilize the existing loading dock. They're not going to process as much product to ship out in greater quantities, so it'll be all sort of small box trucks and things of that nature. So what they've opted to do is reduce the building addition from about 4,000 square feet, which included a new loading dock, to a little over 2,300 square feet. In doing that, we didn't need as much space for the large truck turns as initially anticipated. So we've opted to sort of take that area and provide parking, which what it allowed them to do is the existing the previously approved uses for some small cafe space, it allowed them to increase the seat count in that area. So the previous approval had 34 parking spaces, and we're at 45 parking spaces. We do have a net decrease in the overall pavement that was proposed on the site by a little over 2,000 square feet, even with the increased number of parking. A lot of that had to do with a large truck turn that went down on Rose Ave. There was a previously approved curb cut out on 125. We did receive a DOT approval for that. So we do have current DOT approvals for that, as well as current right-of-way permits to construct the water tie-ins that are shown on the utility sheets. So we do have those. I know Mr. Keach in his latest memo had requested a copy of those as not being complete, but those were completed, so we can provide those. The alignment of that driveway has not changed in this configuration, so it's in the exact same spot as previously approved. The entrance out to Rose Ave is definitely reconfigured. It is much smaller than previously proposed, and that was more due to the large truck sizes that were being anticipated to come into that loading dock. You'll notice that we've sort of necked it down to 24 feet for vehicle traffic coming in and maintaining the existing loading dock. I know when Mr.
Just a question, did you submit, is there something that's on the computer or something? Because I don't see a copy of,
But there's no plan.
I don't have the plan in front of me.
Anybody have a staff password?
I do not.
Is there a password on there?
That's what it's asking for.
I know, but I mean, if there's one on the.
Did he leave?
Oh.
Is it on there?
Well,
Oh, here he comes.
Just happened to be here.
Thank goodness.
I can't help you much then. Okay, that's all right. As long as I can get access to it. Sure. Yep.
Hopefully they're indexed by,
So here it is. Hopefully it's where it needs to be.
All right, let's take a look. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No, that's the. I don't believe that's the right. That's the concept
go.
plan.
There we go. You didn't get that.
is it recognizing the USB that's in there?
It is, but the USB it's the old file. It's from when we presented the concept plan.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Keach, when there were comments on here. I mean, is there anything, I mean, this is an amended plan. It's from something that we looked at previously.
Exactly.
We already approved.
Yeah, that we already approved.
Yeah, if you go to my letter of
Yeah.
July 9th, I mean, it's most of what I talked about, there were waiver requests, 3 of which I think should be withdrawn because they're superfluous, right?
Okay.
Okay.
One thing, I know Mike fairly well, and he's about as conservative as he comes, so if he thinks there might be a 1% chance that you're going to want a waiver. He submits it. And then the other two waivers, the first and second dot, you approved on October 23rd, 2024. And, they're born of site conditions. And if you feel that it's necessary to vote on them again, do so. But I mean, they carry over, right? Because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's dotting I's and crossing T's, right? I mean, it sounds like you got that impression, Richard, when you read the letter.
Yeah. It just seemed that it was pretty much, an analysis of the waivers and such.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
I think you can dispose of this evening if you want.
because I think the recommendation was to hold it over
You
to the
hear that?
19th.
We're going to dispose of you, Michael.
All right. I'm sure my wife will appreciate that.
Actually, it was her recommendation.
I think the only one that I agree with the last waiver, the section 230-23B3B3, but the one just before that about the front waiver, we've got about 7 feet at that top corner of the property that I've
It's
got
okay.
7 feet. So that was the reason why.
I understand.
Well, we can just, like I said, we can vote on a waiver, whether or not you want to.
When I read this and knowing, the previous plan, I didn't think we had any waivers, as I looked at it.
Well, there's the one there on the southerly line, because it's never going to have the landscape strip because the curb cut is where the DOT put it, right?
Yep.
But my thing was we had already approved them.
That's right. And that's why I'm not convinced that you even have to take it up.
Right.
Because we're amending an existing site.
Exactly.
Right. And you're making it smaller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I would be equally comfortable if it was, at the chair's pleasure, just to, indicate that the waivers granted on October of 2024.
We're efficient.
So.
Yep.
I think the only problem is we just have to see which ones those were. I don't.
Understood.
Okay, I don't know. You mean phrase it that the waivers granted on October 24th?
Well, I think you can just reach a finding and not just for the record that was the case, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The board, right?
Yeah. So are there any? So apart from that, are there again new waivers that we're looking for on this list?
No, there wasn't
anyway?
any new waivers. It was, we had simply carried the previous.
All right, so we would just be merely
forward.
affirming that we're
correct.
carrying forward the October 2024 waivers.
Yep.
He's not looking for anything that you haven't already given him for dispensation.
Well, then maybe I look at it, it's already approved. That's like.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But it's more of, so what we've done in the past on these types of projects of where we had a previous approval, we sort of carried it forward so that there wasn't any sort of discrepancy on an approval.
We're a progressive board.
Then that's fine.
Well, that's
Then
what I
we'll.
was gonna say, Dan. Different boards have different habits when it comes to this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And we see enough of them.
So there is the site plan, and you can sort of see we've got a much smaller sort of building addition. This driveway is the same location. The current DOT approval covers all of that.
Right. All the entrances.
Yeah. This stays the same. Pretty much everything in the front stays the same, including all of this parking. The only thing that's changed is sort of this area back here where we're keeping now the existing loading dock.
Right.
And sort of reconfiguring the entrance out on the Rose Ave.
No,
So we still have the comprehensive landscaping plan. We have a comprehensive stormwater management plan that's been included as part of this. The one change is relative to the septic system. The septic flows that were approved under the original sort of footprints, and you can sort of see there, gave a flow of about a little over 2,300 gallons based on that configuration. We have it slightly reconfigured just so that we can get proper separation, because in the previous when these were constructed, there was nothing over here. So we've got some stormwater systems going in there, so we need to make sure that we maintain the separations. So, and these systems are about 23 years old, so they're at the end of their sort of useful life. Yeah, they're precast chambers. They do, but yeah, it has been, correct.
You're underestimating what life you have.
Well, the other part of it is it's more relative to separation to my stormwater systems. So that's really the only reason it's facilitating the reconstruction of those. It's more to fit sort of shoehorn things in there. If you see the, if I get into the septic, there's our lighting plan, site profiles.
It's the last sheet, Mike.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's landscape. So you can sort of see, I've got red and greens. Those are my setbacks to my features. So you can see how we're sort of shoehorning that system in there now. Yeah, just a little bit. So that's what's facilitating the reconstruction of those. The site can handle the flows that we're putting into it. So the flow is actually, what we're proposing is slightly less than what was approved initially when those things were first constructed. So but you can see my dilemma of trying to make sure everything sort of fits and.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
All right. Does the board have any other questions? Are we amenable to perhaps just affirming the waivers that were October 2024?
Exactly.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this particular application? Okay. So then at 8:49, I'll close the public hearing for this particular application. And I guess if we're not looking to continue it, but rather, we just need a motion to accept the amended site plan as proposed. And then just affirm the October 24, 2024 waivers. I don't see anything in the staff, there were no that if it's amended site plan, they're just amending it.
Move to accept the application of amended site plan. Oh.
I don't think you have that. You refer back to the waivers.
Okay, but then so what's the motion for the amended site plan?
Accept them.
Approve.
Okay.
Motion to approve, not accept. You already accepted it.
Yeah, we've accepted as complete now.
We accepted it as complete, now it's still approved.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't see anything in the way of other conditions that we're looking to memorialize.
No.
There's no L chips.
No, I think the only other condition would be providing the septic number once we get that.
So is it NHDS septic permit? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. That would be the only.
And we've received the New Hampshire DOT driveway permit.
Correct. Right? And the lot waiver, the lot merger has already been taken care of. So there's been a recorded deed for that as well.
It's what?
The lot merger. So there's the original parcel consisted of two lots. So when we had come through last time, that was one of the conditions of merging those two lots to a single entity. That has been completed, and that was done as part of the previous approval. So there is a recorded deed on file that has that now as one contiguous lot. That was one item that Mr. Keach had noted in his.
Okay. Yeah.
I move to approve the application for amended site plan as noted in the legal notice. PB 26-23 for the property located at 132 Plastow Road, tax map 29, lot 3 in the C1 zoning district with the following conditions. All applicable professional stamps shall be affixed to the final plan to be recorded. NHDES
Septic permit.
Septic. Yep.
submitted to the planning department, and number added to the plan. All conditions of approval shall be met, and final plans for recording submitted to the planning department within 45 days of receipt of the state.
Sounds good, sir. Thank you.
Second it.
Second it.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right, 500.
Thank you, everyone.
Perfect.
What's that?
Consider yourself disposed of. Take care, my friend. Be good.
Is this, okay, all right. Other information, impact fees. This project will be subject to public safety impact fees. The fees will be $1.27 per square foot for commercial retail use. This is assessed on the addition only. Based on 2,300 square feet addition, the public safety impact fee will be assessed at $2,921 and will be payable prior to the closing out of the building permit and issuance of the certificate of occupancy. If the building size should change, the public safety impact fee will be adjusted accordingly. Oh, good grief. All right, take a minute.
And then there was one.
Yeah. Starting to spark here a little bit. All right, take a second to reset. All right. PB 26-24, the completeness of an application from DSM MB2 for review of an amended site plan that proposes renovating the existing shopping center and site improvements, including access, parking, lighting, and landscaping. The property is located at 34 Plastow Road, tax map 25, lot 5. The applicant is the property owner of record. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing.
I move to accept the application for an amended site plan at the property located at 34 Plastow Road, tax map 25, lot 5, in the C1 zoning district is complete.
Do I have a second? Bill. And any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, 500. Your name, sir?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Nick Golan. I'm the president and chief engineer of TF Moran. Happy to be here this evening on behalf of the applicant, DSM MB Roman numeral 2 LLC, as well as the market basket rep, that being LT Development LLC. If you give me 1 minute, I'd love to pull up my graphics here.
Conception, that's the last one.
Oh my
On
God,
the
you're
agenda.
reading all this stuff.
All right, we'll start with the not so fun picture.
All right, just so we know, just for the record, this material has not been reviewed by our engineer yet.
We're aware.
Right. So for purposes of this meeting, we can talk about it, field some questions. Maybe there's some, people, maybe somebody in the audience has something to say. And then we're probably looking to continue it to the 19th.
And I'll certainly be interested in Mr. Keach's opinion on that. We did have the opportunity to meet with you all back in, I think it was March or April, to give you the coming attraction of what we were bringing forth for this project, which is really, in all intents and purposes, a beautification project. It's a renovation. We're improving a tremendous amount of the site. So let me get into that aspect. So let's get ourselves located. This is tax map 25, lot 5, with an address of 34 Plastow Road, Zone Commercial 1 District. The parcel itself is comprised of approximately 46 acres, and the use is a shopping center. Now, original construction of this site dates back to the mid to late 1970s, and the graphic we are looking at it, or if you drive by, certainly shows that. It's in dramatic need of a facelift. I think there was some excitement from the board when we were here last time to get an idea, to get a feel for what they were hoping to accomplish here, to see this site really move into the future. Now, relative to those current tenants, Market Basket, Kohl's, New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlet, the Bull Moose Music, as well as the paper store. So what are we proposing to do with this site? This is a relocation and renovation of Market Basket with reorganization and really a beautification of the site. So let's flip from the old to hopefully the new. So as part of this, Kohl's, which was previously occupying this approximately 80,000 square feet, will vacate. Market Basket will then renovate that space consistent with their current branding. Once renovation is complete, Market Basket would relocate to that new space.
Can I just ask one question right there, relevant to the renovation?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you demolishing that portion, or are you just merely gutting it and building it out?
Gutting and building it out.
Okay.
So you'll see there are some improvements on the back to help facilitate the loading dock areas, as well as in this area here. But primarily, this is a renovation and beautification of that existing structure. All right. So once we have Market Basket in that new space, it allows for that former Market Basket space located here to be renovated, yielding 26,000 retail spaces, noting those tenants are to be decided. For all we know, Kohl's goes back there in a smaller store. It could be anyone. So I won't pontificate, I won't guess, but the reality is you'll have two nice 26,000 square foot spaces there that could house additional tenants. So let's think beyond the building renovation itself, what else are we doing? So we will have an additional tenant, a little less than 2,500 square foot bank that's located at the northeast corner along our frontage. We're going to see some drastic access and 2,500 square foot bank. It's interesting. Yeah, we're seeing more and more of these banks go to the smaller square footage, but going back to the drive-through. So what's old is new, essentially, when we're thinking about banking. Again, we'll see some considerable access and circulation improvements, one of which is the incorporation of a roundabout located set back from the light. One of the issues I think we're experiencing now is there's a tremendous issue with queuing. We have dead-end aisles. This site is something from days of past that we wouldn't recreate. What we're doing, I'm sure it was great at its time in the 70s, but we have been a little bit more forward-thinking in the better part of the last 50 years, and this is going to provide a tremendous improvements for circulation, which was one of the key aspects in renovating this project site. What the design of this roundabout does, it's really a function of the queuing, the entering and exiting trips, and then reducing conflict points. Yeah, thank you for that.
This over here, what is that? Is that just
so that's a green island area. Okay. And again, with the purpose of really trying to separate our outgoing traffic from our ingoing traffic, and then our circulation point, providing a separate location for that. So again, as you're entering into the site, you're not wondering which way you're supposed to go. It provides a little bit more of a clear demarcation. We're entering.
So how large is that roundabout?
Yeah.
Like a diameter wise?
Order of magnitude, probably about 110 feet, a little bit bigger. If we look at it in context to the turnaround in the back, this is about 110 feet. So when we think about that circle size, pretty close. But it conforms to the applicable requirements of roundabout design as part of this overall project. So we're looking at that roundabout as a considerable improvement to try and better improve our circulation. Beyond that, major change to the parking lot. We've incorporated curvilinear parking lot geometry that eliminates what was previously just dead end rows. You'd get to the end, you got nowhere to go, you're trying to find a way to back up. Instead, you're coming to the end of a row, you have the opportunity to continue to circulate to find a space. It's pretty commonplace now. Unfortunately, with this site back in the 70s, that was something that had not been integrated at that point. So, yeah. So actually, great segue. This allows us to do a pretty substantial parking reduction. I think anybody who's driven by there, myself included, sees that we have a lot of extra space. So we lose a little bit of that with our new bank use, but we're going from just over 900 parking spaces to 700.
What's the new bank?
Tenant yet to be determined.
Oh.
So we've identified the use, but not the user. Now that is a reduction of just over 200 parking spaces, but ta-da, still meets your regulations. So they were overparked was the reality. It was a tendency I think that folks had was to try and build as many as possible, whereas in this aspect, we're getting to the spaces that we need that's consistent with your regulation, as well as incorporating a considerable amount of green space. We're reducing the amount of pavement on site by almost half an acre. So we're 20,000 square feet. It's a huge number. And it's a great improvement. You can hear me being excited because I don't always get to come to a planning board and tell you about all these great things that we're doing to a site that has really reached its time for renovation. So good way to segue from talking about pavement and impervious is stormwater. Currently, we have catch basins. Some have some deep sumps. They discharge directly off-site. As part of this project, it will require an alteration of terrain permit. So anything over 100,000 square feet of impact in a non-shore land requires that permit. So it's the state's permit for your permanent stormwater management features, as well as your temporary sediment and erosion controls during construction. So we'll have an extra set of eyes at the state reviewing our stormwater. But as part of that pre-application meeting, we agreed, all right, although we're reducing our impervious, we do need to add something more to this. So what we're going to incorporate it's a proprietary system. It's ADS. They have a water quality system. What it does is it uses weir plates and gravity basically to settle out the particulate matter. So what it does is treats really that first flush, and it traps sediments, traps oils, and the floating debris. So where we currently do not have that, we will once this project is ready.
Is it subterranean?
Yeah. So it's a subterranean system, so that'll be underground, just like the existing catch basins and pipe network.
Is it a fuel water separators, or are you just looking to
it's doing both.
Capture particular?
So there's via the weird system that's incorporated. What it does is it's separating the sediments to create basically a zero velocity zone. So our sediments drop, our oils float. And if there's a larger storm or a flash storm, then that gets circulated around the water quality unit. So that way, when are we seeing those hydrocarbons and those sediments? It's usually that first flush of the storm where it's all getting washed away. These units serve to treat those areas and are sized based off their contributing flows. So if you have, say, an acre contributing to an area and it's only 2 CFS in a 25-year storm, you have a certain size unit. If you have 20 acres of pavement draining to an area, you have a much larger unit. So we work with the manufacturer of that unit to size these appropriately, which is then cross-checked by alteration of terrain as part of that permit. So some fun stormwater stuff will be happening on this project site. So outside of stormwater, what are some other things we like to talk about with site renovations or site work in general, or utilities? So again, existing uses, we already have gas. It'll be extended as necessary for the new connection points to the building. Electric is already on site. We have what we need there. The septic, which is located as a raised system in the back. In our good planning about 5 years ago, when that system was replaced, it was oversized. So it provides the appropriate capacity for this renovation. You will see that there'll be some new plumbing. We'll have additional tanks that are going to be located behind the building, and then it'll be pumped up to that existing distribution box. But no changes to the field itself. That is in great shape with the replacement that was about 5 years ago. All right, what are other ones? Water. It exists on site. It'll be relocated as necessary to accommodate the building renovation. We'll also have some new hydrants in the front of the site. There'll also be a new hydrant at the back of the site. We did get a comment from the fire department that they'd like us to coordinate those locations with them. So we'll make sure we put them in the right spots relative to where the water service exists today. Other site elements, site lighting, very much antiquated. And we're going to have the opportunity now to incorporate dark sky compliant lighting. You'll see site light poles within the parking lots, as well as wall mounted fixtures on our buildings. And the other item that we're excited to talk about is the landscaping. Not a lot out there. We got 3 beautiful specimen trees along the frontage, and guess what? We will keep those, and we'll supplement them. And we are going to add additional landscaping. So just to describe it a little bit, along our site frontage, so really right in through here, what you're going to see is a New England style stone wall. It's going to help create that sense of place and are complemented by a variety of daylilies. It's something you see at all market baskets. It's kind of one of their staples. You're also going to see street trees which will supplement what exists out there now to help create a visual buffer between the roadway and the site. So again, some nice positive improvements along our frontage. As we work our way into the site, the entrance is highlighted by some colorful crimson cloud hawthorn along this entranceway. These offer a striking spring blossom, extend the seasonal interest into the winter with bright red berries. Also something good for our little avian species, our birds. And then also a layered evergreen shrubs and hydrangeas, which add some additional depth and just year-round appeal to the landscaping. If you've been driven by any of their new stores, you can see the amount of care and effort they put into their landscaping. We're going to see that at this location as well. Just projecting further into the site as far as into the parking lot, we have landscape islands that are filled with shade trees, ornamental grasses, flowering shrubs, as well as a mix of perennials. Together, these plants enhance the site's appearance, provide shade, contribute to a better parking environment. So again, some nice finishing touches as part of, we're making some changes to geometry of the lot. And in doing so, it's opening up additional green space, which allows us to rethink how that program can be operated. Beyond the planning board, what other approvals shall we be seeking? A DOT driveway permit. We have a meeting with them next week to review that, to make sure that we're consistent with their expectations. The before mentioned alteration of terrain permit that'll be required for this site as well. Noting again that there was a pre-application already, so we knew what the ground rules were going into this. And then last but not least, the revised septic approval. Although we're not making any changes to the field itself, we are changing out tanks. We still need to go through that process. I recognize that Mr. Keach hasn't had the opportunity to review these plans as of yet, but I want to note that there are no waivers being requested as part of the renovation of this site. I think that's an important one. I know not all rules, not all projects fit into that nice and neat basket that is a site plan regulation, but we've been able to do it on this one. So I realize there's the thought process to continue. I'd be happy to hear your feedback. If Mr. Keach has any particular comments, concerns, or otherwise. And then I note there are other eyes that will look at this from the state review process. You'll have that benefit as well.
Just one question before. I mean, I know that there was some feedback from the fire department where there was some comment about the backside.
Yes,
of,
right here.
That
the ladder truck can navigate that radius to turn around successfully, and we'll provide a plan to that effect.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like a nice one.
Well,
Make sure to address.
Okay. And I think the roundabout, I think, was something that they mentioned also, I think.
No, actually, the comments that we received from them had to do, the first pass was, geez, we never let somebody build a building like this before. Just some of the turning radiuses around the backside were a little too tight.
Okay.
So we improved those. And then we also provided the turnaround, somewhat selfishly. It serves our delivery vehicles also, but we'll also have the opportunity to serve the fire department.
Who's doing your little roundabout?
So it'd be our site contractor, relative to who's designing it. It's the original design was done by VHB as a subconsultant to the developer, and TF Moran has assumed those responsibilities and will be completing that design.
All right.
I'd like to say we've completed that design because it is designed. If there's any comments or otherwise, we'll be sure to address them though.
Please.
Yeah.
Get at it.
All right.
When would you be looking to start?
The reality is,
I know everyone's going to want to know the time.
Hey, as soon as we have approvals, it provides us the opportunity for the planning of that. Now, it obviously has to be bid out, and there's that process. But being that this is a renovation project, the sooner we secure approval from the planning board, the sooner we can pull a demo permit, the sooner this gets underway.
I'm sure there's a time frame they want this done by. I'm sure
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you've already been given it.
Which is usually as soon as possible. But I realize our need to move.
Coles has to move out first.
I realize.
No, I know.
Be gone now.
Yeah.
They're going to be out by August 1st.
Our need and desire to move forward with as much expediency as possible
Said the 15th, but it'll be the 1st.
is not your responsibility to immediately approve something. I'm hoping with what I've been able to provide tonight, it's given a nice snapshot of all these improvements, and that there'll be additional sets of eyes, as well as Mr. Keach's on that review, to see this move forward.
No, it was an excellent presentation. I personally like what I see, and it's you're kind of hitting all the bells and whistles in terms of, the parking lot design and, the aesthetics and things like that.
You can still put the trees up on the light poles in the winter for Christmas?
I can't say I'm involved in that decision making.
Those have been around as far back as I can remember on those things.
Right.
I'll make a note.
So does anyone from the board have any specific questions? If not, if there's anyone from the public that wants to speak to this particular application, you can come on up, give your name, your address, and speak into the mic. Just please, name and address and.
I've never been to a meeting before. My name's April DiVirgilio. I'm at 11 La Pearl Ave, so I am in a butter to the property, and I think this looks beautiful. It sounds like you're not really expanding the actual structure of the building. It's just more, like you said, of a beautification project.
Correct. So I'll redirect to the chairman. When we look at the frontage of the building, they're facade improvements. At the rear of the building, there is a minor expansion here, and then we're reworking the loading dock area of the building. But no, this isn't, hey, we need to add 10,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet. We're really working within the framework of that existing building.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Anything else? If not, then I'll close this. No, I won't close it. I will.
No, go for it.
No, we're going to continue.
You're on a roll. Go right.
You're going to continue it.
Build the sledgehammers out tomorrow.
All right. So, public hearing for planning board matter 2624 as amended site plan for 34 Plastow is continued to Wednesday, August 19th, 6:30 p.m. Plastow Town Hall. This is the official notification of continuance to all interested parties, and no additional notification will be forthcoming. All right.
All right. So if I may take as just what I heard today, there are no significant outstanding comments. We know we're subject to review and we'll need to address those comments, but the board seems generally pleased with what we're proposing.
It seems to be an engineering drill at this point, and taking into account the various professionals like the police, fire.
Yep.
And it sounds like you've already done that.
Well, very good.
The
rest of your evening.
Worse.
I think there were two comments from the fire department.
Correct.
One was for the back.
Yep.
And then one was the concern on the front, on the traffic.
And they're both great comments, and we'll make sure they have the answers they need. All right. Good evening, folks.
Excellent. Thank you.
Nice job, Nick.
That roundabout. Nice job.
All right. Rolling down the pike here.
Please.
All right.
Chairman, do you mind if I take off?
Absolutely.
No, not
Thank
at
you
all.
very much for.
All right.
Doesn't this bring back memories?
Oh, I don't know. It's just another night out on the town, right?
Yeah, there you are. No, thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for coming.
Not every month Shay's on vacation, right?
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
All right, you take care, everybody.
You take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
We'll rapidly finish this up.
Wrap this up.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
9 o'clock.
All right.
Remember what the rule
Okay,
was?
thank you, Karen.
9 o'clock. We're supposed to be leaving.
Moving on. Conceptual consultation for Sarah Beth Goslin, 97 Plastow Road, tax map 28, lot 22. This should be straightforward. Yes.
I
Good
feel bad
evening.
she had to wait through all this.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well. Just give your name and then drive forward.
Sarah Beth Gosselin, and I'm representing my martial arts school, Phoenix Fire Martial Arts.
Okay.
And I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Well, it sounds like you're moving from one location to another.
Pretty much,
All right.
yes.
And, it's just, so you're just moving out of the building and then occupying another one, and then you're just going to kind of build out stuff internally?
Exactly.
Right. So it's not, I don't think it's a change of use. It's a permitted use, right?
Mm-hmm. That we already confirmed ahead of time.
It's interesting that specific use in this, they're treating it as we don't describe it anywhere, so it kind of fits in the retail use.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not even changing that, you're not changing anything.
No, you're
Okay.
not changing anything at all.
So, I mean, there really doesn't have any business in front of us. you know, it's,
I didn't think so.
okay. So is this Phoenix Fire, it's a
Yes.
Shotokan Krav Maga
Yeah.
operation?
Yeah,
You know, so is this place going to be a little bigger for you and stuff?
it is. So
Okay,
right now we're at
good.
1,900 square feet. This is going to be about 2,700.
Excellent.
So just expanding a little bit.
All right.
Good.
To me, you're just moving this.
You're moving from one to the other, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Same district.
Yeah.
Literally up the road, and not even a half a mile.
See?
Well, yeah, how many students do you have?
Right now I have about 92.
92?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow.
So hopefully I get about 150 by the end of the year. That's the goal.
All right.
Very good.
Cool.
Do you train yourself?
I do.
Okay.
This year is 14 years.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've been in business for about 6. So pretty exciting.
Excellent. Yes.
Very good.
Awesome.
All right. I don't have any questions.
No, I think
Our
that's,
advice is you don't need to come back.
Yeah, there you are.
And wait through this whole
That's what I
thing
figured,
tonight.
but I was like,
Oh my
I have no
God.
idea. I'm just going
All
to show
nights
up.
to pick. Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. It's been a long night for you guys.
No, it's been long for you. We
Yeah.
apologize.
You get to watch.
No worries.
Oh,
We'll tell everyone you're good to go.
Perfect.
excellent.
That's all I need. Thank
All right.
you so much.
Thank you and good luck.
All right. All right. I think the last order of business tonight will be, you have an application, we have an application for an alternate position on the board for Diana Huff. Please come up. You're subjected to the star chamber here.
If this was like 720, it'd be a lot more rigorous.
No.
Well,
I have to be commended for sitting through the whole thing.
Well,
Yes.
you know, if you want to be a part of the board,
Yes,
you're going to have
exactly.
to do the time. You know, I think we've seen you before. You've been here a couple of times. I think there's a petition that has your imprimatur on it.
Yep.
So, and you seem to want to know what's going on the board here. You know, so the inner works and the planning board. So, anything else you want to add?
I
to
didn't
that, or-
prepare a statement.
No.
I wasn't sure if you had a formal process for questioning people. I don't like complaining and not doing something about it. So I figured if I'm going to do all this complaining about traffic, then I'll be on the board.
Excellent.
And you're the one who said at the site walk that if you want to change things, you need to make your voice heard.
Good.
There you are.
Someone actually listened to Richard?
You don't mind if I
So
take
true.
pictures and record this, right?
So true.
walk through the front door.
Right. It ain't gonna matter.
There's a unicorn here in town hall. No. Anyone else on the board have any particular questions that they want to ask a prospective
Welcome.
alternate?
You have email, right?
I have email. And I actually, back in my youth, I was president of my college alumni association. And my claim to fame is I knew Robert's Rules of Order backward and forward.
There you
Oh,
go.
good, because we don't.
I noticed that. I noticed you don't, you don't follow procedure to the letter.
They actually.
The chair can suspend the rules.
Tell us not to
Right.
follow.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, right. That's true.
You know, we meet twice a month.
yes.
right?
And one's a
some-
working meeting that the public doesn't come to.
Right. Well,
And
they
you
can-
have this one.
The public is invited to
Public
every
is
meeting.
always invited.
Oh,
Okay,
oh.
Yeah, you don't, these are all public meetings.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
But on this, the third Wednesday.
You get to speak.
Is public hearing nights.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one's just a working session. The
And every
public
now
could
and
come.
then during-
Oh,
and
okay.
Every now and then during the working session, we may look at applications.
Right, if we're trying to.
Well, we might.
Yeah.
And how long do those last generally?
Not this late.
No, this is a little exceptional.
We normally aren't getting 6 applications at one point in time.
Okay,
I always assume, an hour and a half to 2 hours.
okay, all right.
All right, and then occasionally you'll see like a site walk, and it's where you saw the planning board in the wild. So, and that's just to, be able to see what the applications and what we're actually talking about isn't abstract. And so,
And we welcome ideas.
all right. So, with that said, we can just, I'm going to say, all in favor of this application? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain? No? All right, so 500.
Oh,
There you
wonderful.
go.
Thank you.
Right.
I think.
No, thank you.
Joining the rabble.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
What's the process for getting this one?
No, what it is, you're right, someone will have to.
Someone second my motion?
Give her name downstairs.
Yes.
And then you'll have to get
Right,
sworn
you
in. It'll either Martha, the town clerk, will have to do it, or I can do it during a meeting or before a meeting.
And do I get to vote as an alternate even though
See,
I'm not
that's what we had
elected?
explained. No.
No. Okay.
The alternate is, if a regular member's not here, then the chair appoints
Automatically.
among
You
the
can-
alternates. And
Oh, I see.
that you
Okay.
elect to.
All right. Okay.
All right.
And then, and I
no,
have
but
to go through training, correct? There are training modules?
Yes,
I think they were
There's-
offered to you, yes.
and that Jay can go over a lot.
Okay. Yeah, and I've read half the town plan, the master
The
plan.
master plan.
Yep.
Yes, that's,
Okay, yep.
that's the,
Good.
Riveting reading, isn't it? That'll put you to sleep.
all right.
And just because you don't vote, it means you can always get in the conversation, no matter what, no matter what. Your ideas.
All right.
always.
Unless we tell you not to talk.
No, they won't do that.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have the warrants for the next meeting and then I can get you sworn.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
for letting me
Very
join.
good. Did someone second my motion? Charlene? Did I just ram that through? Did someone?
You ran us over.
Okay, so I just, I move that Diana Huff be accepted as an alternate.
The serial seconder.
All right. Karen, just do it. Are you seconding?
I did.
Okay,
second.
Karen seconds,
Yeah,
all in
I did.
favor? Aye.
I did, I said.
All right, well, that's what I'm looking for. So 500. All right.
I move that we have no other business.
Yeah, I think we're all done. We can go over, none of this other stuff, we can address it later, old business. All right, I'm going to close the meeting at 9:25. Sorry about going over.
Nope.